A very good afternoon to everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today for the 2021 Entrepreneurship World Cup Finals, South Africa. My name is Kamuchira Mutezo, and I will be your host this afternoon. Two house rules before we begin. Number one, please ensure that your microphones are muted and your video is turned off. And number two, to all who are watching from home, make sure you have a pen and a paper so as to jot those tidbits of inspiration from our 14 finalists. Now, let me share a little bit about what the Entrepreneurship World Cup is. It's a global competition for startups as well as an accelerator program that catapults funders through a journey of developing as their entrepreneurial venture. Gaining resources, connections, mentorship, as well as millions of dollars in cash prize is certainly the order of the day. The Entrepreneurship World Cup takes place in all the countries where GEN, which is the Global Entrepreneurship Network, has a presence. It's a great platform for entrepreneurs to inspire and thrive throughout their journey. Before I get into what the day has to offer, let us start off with a little video from the EWC Global team who will give us some excitement in terms of what the platform offers entrepreneurs.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Altmans, and I'm the president and the founder of the Global Entrepreneurship Network. And on behalf of all of our global partners, especially the MISC Foundation, I want to welcome you to the Entrepreneurship World Cup. Over the course of the last 3 years since we kicked off this initiative in nations across the world, we've helped more than 300,000 startups to test their ideas. Yes, they've competed for prizes, they've competed for the opportunity to get support, but in the end, all of them have got access to training, to perks, and to the networks of their peers that we hope will help them succeed if they didn't this time around. But this time around, yes, they're competing for $1 million in prizes and many millions of dollars in perks and other kinds of benefits, not to mention the training and the mentorship and the ongoing support that comes with being a part of the EWC community. We are very, very proud this year that the finals will be in November. They'll be back on back with the Global Entrepreneurship Congress, which is GEN's annual large gathering of the year of all 200 countries that we operate, that we're bringing together the leaders of those ecosystems with their startups and their investors to really take a close look alongside their governments at what the future has in store for us in this post-pandemic environment. Right now, we're seeing the roaring back of our economies, and it's time for us to take a careful and thoughtful look about where are the tailwinds, yes, but where are the opportunities for us to build back better in this post-pandemic global environment. So we'll be having that Congress, whether you win and get into the EWC 100 and make it to the EWC final stage, it doesn't matter. You're all welcome to join the Global Entrepreneurship Congress in Riyadh in November. If indeed you're ready to get back to live face-to-face community building and relationship building, we would love to have you. More information can be made available at gec.co. For today, we're focused on the Entrepreneurship World Cup. Welcome. We look forward to meeting all of the startups participating and look forward to seeing some of them indeed at the global gathering that takes place in November. So good luck. And thank you.
Awesome. That was an address by Jonathan Altmans, who is the president of the Global Entrepreneurship Network. Now, after not traveling for so long, the idea of getting out of South Africa, out of the continent and onto a global stage really sounds awesome. So to those who will be pitching today, I sincerely wish you nothing less of the best, because being able to share one's ideas, insights, capabilities, and coming through from South Africa, it is going to be an exciting platform altogether. Now, in 2021, through GEN South Africa, 22 on Sloan was selected to be the national organizers. We started the program in April, where applications were open, and we received more than 1,200 applications. Looking at the quality and ensuring that all the questionnaires were put out there. Some of you may have engaged my colleague Matlatsi Tolamo, who is with us on this call, and greater partnerships have allowed us to reduce those numbers and get through a selection process of identifying 14 finalists that we will have today. As the saying goes, if you want to go far, go alone. But if you want to go further, go with partners. And indeed, we certainly had partners. Now, I would like to introduce our partners who were also mentors to the 14 finalists selected, as well as will be judging today. I'll ask the technical team if they can pull up the partner list. I can briefly introduce them before we get into the pitching. All right, our first judge is Grace Legodi, who is representing the World Bank. We've certainly walked a wonderful journey with the World Bank for quite a number of years. And Grace is an all-rounded professional with vast experience working in corporate as well as with startups. Our second judge, Inayeth, Govender, who's the head of market at Tarsus On Demand. 22 on Sloan began its partnership with Tarsus almost a year ago. And boy, oh boy, can we say it's been a wonderful journey. Inayeth, we are very delighted to have you with us. Inayeth is the head of market development at Tarsus with a history working in the campaign management, IT, data science, and sales management. Our third judge is his colleague, Jessica Harvey, who is the product marketing manager at Tarsus On Demand. Jessica is part of the Tarsus On Demand team and ensures her responsibilities include campaign conceptualization, putting together go-to-market strategies for partners, and these are just some of the few activities that we've been exploring as well with entrepreneurs here at 22 on Sloan. And we also have Ziaad Suleman, who recently joined EOH. Another round of congratulations to you, Ziaad. And he's the former director and chief operations officer at IBM Southern Africa. Great. So those are the judges that we have. And we also want to thank you so much for the time you've invested mentoring the 14 entrepreneurs today. Now, as we're getting closer to the actual pitching activities, additional pointers I would like to put on your table. A kind reminder to all the judges that you can judge on the EWC platform. If you are having any technical difficulties, which is certainly the order of the day, please feel free to reach out to Matlatsi and she'll be able to guide you there. The second item is that this event is being streamed live on YouTube through the EWC Global page, as well as Facebook. So if at any point you fall off the Zoom platform, feel free to access us through the YouTube channel as well as Facebook. At 1:30 today, we will also have elements of this pitching live streamed on the SABC channel known as SME On Point. This is a wonderful platform where entrepreneurs get to engage and showcase what they're up to. And we want to ensure that the 14 have a few seconds on SME On Point so as to ensure a lot more people are aware of the wonderful work that they're doing. Last but not least, if you've got comments, questions, please feel free to follow us on our social media pages, which is EWC South Africa, LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as Instagram, similarly with 22 on Sloan. Right, with that in mind, I'm going to ask the finalists, are you ready? Please give me a reaction in your Zoom. Are you ready? Give me a thumbs up, give me a smiley, give me a shock. Okay, I've got thumbs up. All right, I love how, okay, this is going to be a vibe. Judges, this is really going to be a vibe. Without further ado, I'm going to call upon our first entrepreneur who will be pitching from Solar Bakers. Let me tell you a little bit about Solar Bakers. Solar Bakers bakes rusks from solar thermal energy. This is to improve the solar baking technology that they have developed to ensure that it is realistic, it is sustainable, and has commercial value for public and private use. They will be represented by Johannes van Wyk. Johannes, please unmute and switch on your video. As Johannes is doing that, a kind reminder to all who will be pitching that you've got 5 minutes. When your 5 minutes are up, you'll probably hear a beep, beep from Makati, and 2 minutes Q&A with the judges. Johannes, good afternoon.
Hi, everyone.
Awesome. Just testing if the audio is all right. Are you ready to break the ice?
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, wonderful. With that, Johannes, your 5 minutes starts now.
Good morning, panel. My name is Johan van Wyk, and with me is Dr. Erica du Plessis, the co-founder of Solar Bakers. In 1990, I launched my first social enterprise. Unfortunately, I had my timing horribly wrong with a product and market that was not well researched. 5 years later, I went bankrupt, leaving myself worse off than the people I was trying to help in the first place. This time, hopefully, we've done our homework properly, and with this innovation, we focused on solving two long overdue problems. Small business in communities are struggling. The available money for buying products is just circulating within. Wealth is not created as these businesses seldom bring new money back into the community. It is not disputed that solar thermal energy, the energy that heats up the water in a solar hot water geyser, is the cheapest and most effective energy source anywhere. Although these geysers are installed by the millions in communities, it is the only application of this technology in underprivileged communities. Solar Bakers uses this highly effective solar thermal energy and combines it with solar electrical energy, thus saving more than 80% on electrical costs. We can now produce baked products at a price nobody can compete with, and it allows us a profit margin not known in this industry. I cannot emphasize this enough. Wealth is created by producing unique, highly profitable products for the national and international markets. This is exactly what we do. If exporting does not become a new normal in underprivileged communities, they will always struggle. This solution can be applied anywhere where the sun shines. By using unique equipment and as much solar thermal energy as possible, we bake attractive wealth-generating products to be exported to the high-end market. We provide new Solar Bakers micro-franchises with training, equipment, ingredients, mentorship, and even a buyback policy. These micro-franchises are particularly attractive to female entrepreneurs in rural areas, as they can enter the export market without having to have the capabilities or the knowledge to do so. As a future product, we consider micro-franchising for our solar drying technology of fruits and vegetables. We have a passion for change. We prototyped and tested various ideas and gained experience through practical involvement. We needed proof that our ideas can work and believe that we have to become sustainable before telling others what to do. Our business model consists of research, manufacturing, sales, training, and mentoring. In the research field, we are very fortunate to have Dr. Erica du Plessis from the University of Pretoria contributing to asking the right questions. My personal knowledge and passion for sales, product development, and manufacturing led to a wide range of unique products, processes, and trade secrets. A couple of young people in our team are involved in baking, training, and mentoring. We source expertise as money becomes available. We are very proud to mention that Solar Bakers created a range of unique job opportunities to young people in the remote area of South Africa. We teach them valuable skills that can be used in future endeavors as well. We are also excited that these bakers have already indicated they're interested in becoming micro-franchise holders. We funded ourselves with all research, product development, and all processes. We manufacture and sell solar ovens, solar dryers, baked products, and complete solar bakeries for profit. We are within our projections and are sustainable with no liabilities. Should we get funding? Should we get access to funding, our first priority would be to upgrade our current operating unit and convert it into a modern commercial solar bakery, manufacturing and a training facility. If one day you would be so fortunate to visit us, you will experience our deep-rooted passion for change, conservation, and the environment, and most definitely not leave our premises on an empty stomach. We want to make sure you remember Solar Bakers, the bakery that gives Africa hope. I welcome your questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Johan. We're giving you a virtual round of applause. I open up the floor to the judges to ask their questions.
Thanks, Gamo. It's Ziaad. I'll go first if you don't mind.
You are welcome to talk.
Thank you. So what is your catalyst for change? Is it purely based on money, or are there other requirements beyond pure seed funding?
Yeah, our main goal is to establish these small businesses in communities, and we would like to change the status quo of just doing business locally and give communities the opportunity to export their products to international markets so new money can come into the community. And that way we think is the only way that poverty can be alleviated.
Okay, maybe you can just expand a little bit more. I mean, how do you see that process unfolding? Because in the market, there are multiple sources of funding. I mean, in South Africa itself, we have enterprise and supplier funding. We have a great amount of CSI initiatives. There's no doubt that there's a need to, make sure that people have food, and there's a requirement in terms of smaller businesses growing to reduce unemployment. All of those things are well-known facts, right? But how do you see the process unfolding?
Our mission is for the new franchise holder to start at the scale that he can afford. So the mission is that everybody who buys a franchise, wherever the money comes from, will have to pay back that money, which can then be used to later on fund another franchise. So we're busy with the funding of the different small businesses. We still need to get that going because the homework has been done, and we just finished the first 12 months of the bakery. So we are at this point, as we talk, finished our research and the development, and we have to go into the establishment of these micro franchises.
And what is your entry point? What is your franchise fee? And how does the franchise buyback work?
Okay, we plan not to have a franchise fee in the beginning because we're in the process of setting up our first pilot franchise. And we plan not to have an initial fee to make it as easy as possible for someone to get involved. We are also in the process of establishing a new non-profit organization called Solar Fundi, which will take over the whole franchise idea and identify the new franchise owners and also the marketing of the baked products internationally.
Okay, thank you. We'll give somebody else a chance. Thanks.
Hi, Jessica, Harvey here. So maybe I can just ask you to explain a little bit about the various channels where your product is distributed through, so your baked rusk goods.
Well, okay, we have quite an extensive marketing of our products at the moment, of which social media is by far the biggest. But apart from that, we have our products in a range of retail shops like OKs and spas and so on, which makes up about 50% of our distribution. The other 50% we are also very excited about is coming from private people who lost their jobs through the COVID-19 thing, and they are now selling our products for a profit.
Thank you. I just had the one question.
Awesome. Thank you so much to our judges. And Johan, very interesting concept that you're working on. Certainly looking forward to seeing solar rusks and cookies in our stores very soon. I'll ask you to mute yourself and switch off your video while I call upon the next entrepreneur, who is from Limatech, represented by Lonwabo Myoli. Nolwabo, are you here?
Yes, I'm available. Let me just share my screen.
Okay, great. While Lonwabo is sharing his screen and switching on his video, Limatech enables the informal trader, spaza shops, and independent retail access on a seasonal price lock agreement through crowdsourcing from farmers. Looking forward to your pitch, Lima. Remember, you have 5 minutes to pitch and 2 minutes for Q&A from the judges. Best wishes.
Okay, can I start? Has the time started?
Yes, it starts when you are ready.
Okay. My name is Lonwabo Myoli, and I'm from Limatech. So Limatech is a mobile application that enables informal traders, independent retailers, food processors, and other fresh produce buyers access to price lock agreements through crowdsourcing. 70% of fresh produce sold in the township was actually procured from informal traders. However, informal traders are at the receiving end of some of the most volatile prices and inconsistency of produce. The reason being is that most informal traders access their produce from the national fresh produce markets. The issue with the national fresh produce markets is that they procure, or rather they receive the stock from farmers on a consignment basis. This means that if produce does not sell, farmers aren't compensated. Furthermore, farmers do not know at what price produce will be sold at. As a result, this creates inefficiencies in the supply and demand factors. Our solution is a mobile application that aggregates small buyers. As a result, it enables them buying a greater buying power. It enables the farmer a demand management system so that they can know prior to planting any particular seeds how much of their fresh produce will be sold in the small buyer sector. Furthermore, because we're a platform-based business, we aim to use the data which has been collected on the small buyers and the farmers to leverage it so that they can access credit agreements with financial institutions. As part of our market research, a number of different parties have indicated that they would, use the Lima platform as it, formalizes a former informal process. Fresh produce that was sold in South Africa in the year 2020 was estimated at 70 billion rand, which is about $5 million US dollars. Globally, it was 373 billion US dollars. In terms of our competitors, our main competitor is the national fresh produce market. However, as I had mentioned, the inefficiencies with relation to the national fresh produce market, you do have other two software-based businesses which are Cooler and Fresh Link. However, their focus is more towards the more established sort of sector, being the retail. Then you do have AgriCool. However, AgriCool is not a software-related business and is limited by location due to that specific factor. So what is our competitive advantage? Because we, are a crowdsourcing platform, we enable buyers to access, favorable pricing. The blockchain technology enables, the user to trace the product throughout the cycle. Buyers can access a database where they can see, whether the standardization relating to the farmer, whether they've got global gap, etc. And both buyers and farmers can access credit through the platform based on their trade history. So how does the app work, right? So farmer sends an in-app notification to buyers to subscribe to a particular farming cycle. Buyers then either accept the farming cycle. When they accept, they pay a commitment fee. The commitment fee is then sent to the farmer so that the farmer can purchase agri-input. The farmer then starts the farming cycle and delivers according to the harvest schedule. So how do we make money? We take a 5 to 10% commission on all trade that happens on the platform. We do aim to make $3.8 million within the next 5 years and sign up over 15,000 users within the next 5 years. We are raising $500,000, which is about 7.2 million rand, which will serve as runway for 18 months. In terms of our milestones, we are completing our wireframe. We are going to go into development from the 15th of August, and we aim to launch our beta project by November. In terms of our team, it's myself, Ronoba Mioli and Vio Tutu. We've got a history of working together, and how we came about the problem that we're solving is as a result of running our current business, being Veg2U, where we were awarded a contract by the army, but we could not access tomatoes. As a result, we needed to buy from a wholesaler, and it was expensive, and it hit into our margins. In terms of our advisors, we've got Corinne Clark, who's been allocated to us by SAB Foundation, and we've got Marlon Cronier, who's a buyer from Ready Fresh, a company responsible for buying on behalf of Freshline Spa in the Eastern Cape. Thank you.
Talk about a very efficient timekeeper. Thank you for that, Mahlati. But nicely done, Nonwabo. Very nicely done. Let's give 2 minutes to our judges. The first judge, you're welcome to switch on your video and ask questions.
Go ahead, Inayeth.
You're on mute, Inayeth.
I
Can you
can't hear
guys hear
you.
me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you now, perfect.
Okay, cool. My question is with regards to Limatech, your product market fit. Could you just tell us what sort of research you've done behind the market that you're trying to penetrate?
Okay, so behind the market that we're trying to penetrate, right? So as I had mentioned, because it's a marketplace, there's the input side and there's the output side, right? So with respect to the input, we've done research on farmers, right? And with respect to the farmers, we conducted research on how or what methods they use to, sort of distribute or sell their produce, and what sort of issues they were experiencing. Furthermore, due to that specific research, we also learned that we could, produce other tools as part of the application, especially on the back end. So you take, for instance, the one farmer mentioned that, they struggle as a small and medium scale farmer to, determine whether a specific crop would make money. So on the back end, in the price determination process, we aim at creating a tool similar to a statement of profit or loss, right? The farmer should, state, number one, this is how much produce they're going to make, right? And then through the AI built into the system, it should estimate based on weather, time of season, as to what the likelihood of success is for that specific crop. So if they planted 10,000 cabbages, 7,000 would likely to be successful. And then they are able to input whatever cost they had. And then let's say the price per cabbage is 8 Rand. So 8 Rand times the estimated, which is the 7,000, gives them the estimated turnover minus their cost, then would give them, whether they make a profit or not at that specific pricing point. And then on this, how can I say it? The buyer's end, we interviewed a number of different buyers, both in Joli, Costin, and Motherwell, and we got an understanding of their buying patterns, most of whom buy from the National Fresh Produce Market, but they have noted the issues that they experience. One thing that we did realize is that most of them are unbanked, and it's an opportunity for us, right? However, they are open. The one lady even created a WhatsApp group, right? So we see that, community management is going to be something that is very crucial with respect to this group of individuals. And then on the formalized retail end, right, we had been doing quite a lot of research with Marlon, who is who's the buyer responsible for SPAR Eastern Cape. And he had assisted us with linking to various farmers, and also from the end of a buyer at a more established, institution. What kind of tools does he expect, or how can I simplification from his perspective? I hope that answers your question, sir.
Yeah, perfectly. Thank you so much. Just a follow-up question on that, and then Zaina, I'm not sure if you have a question afterwards. My second question is, with a SaaS-based platform that you're building and you're incorporating AI and you're incorporating blockchain, how are you going to drive your engagement? So what is your go-to-market strategy?
So in terms of when we look at the formalized sector, right, Marlon uses a very paper-based system, right? He noted that this is very inefficient and takes quite a lot of his time. So what we aim to do, right, we aim to integrate the farmers that he is already working with in the Eastern Cape on a free trial basis for 5 months, right? So that the farmers can see the benefits of using the specific platform, right? And not charge any, transaction fees for that specific duration. Once, the trial period has ended and, the farmers have sort of seen the benefit to the specific product, then, we can then open up the features where we make revenue, which is the transaction fee. Secondly, how can I say it? Transaction fee on credit offered by a financial institution, any other marketing related aspect. So let's say, for instance, you're a farmer in Anki and you're wanting to sell to retailers or informal traders in East London, right? You should be able to pay a certain amount in marketing fees so that the buyers in East London are able to see your product favorably, right? So yeah, I mean, that's our go-to-market strategy in terms of the formalized sector. Then the informal, as I had mentioned, community management is key to the specific sector. We have already, sort of bundled the ladies in this specific segment, and they are very interested and keen to work with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Let me go next. Just a quick comment on supply and demand, because you're simply an integrator, right? You're sitting in the middle.
Yes, sir.
You have a market out there, shops and retail stores, distributors. They rely on certainty of supply, and ultimately you're just an integrator. So can you maybe just give us some comments around that, because that's essential to the success of a platform, right? The platform is simply the digital trading, which is easy to overcome, but really the key contributor to success is the actual products.
Yes, sir. And that's a key factor, and like security is also an important key factor. So how we aim to ensure consistency with respect to a product, right? Firstly, the app itself has a rating system, right? So the rating system informs the buyer, right? Whether this person is in the top 1% of sellers, right? Secondly, the seller's trade history. So in terms of the size of product that they've sold. So let's say, for instance, Marlon is looking for potatoes, right? And he relatively needs a large quantity. So not every farmer can meet that sort of quantity. However, if there's a record of your trade that you've done business for Bell Series, for instance, which is another competing, how can I say, distributor in the region, then it informs Marlon that this person may be able to handle, you know, the quantities or stock that he is looking for, right? So it's a rating system. Secondly, history on the trades that the specific farmer has done, then that gives the buyer ease of matter with respect to product that is that they may order in that sort of context.
Sure, and I'll just add to that. I mean, the fact that you're looking at technology, and I think Inayeth spoke about that a little bit earlier around digital analytics, all of that. I think predictive analytics will also help you with your planning, so that ultimately where you run short in one particular area, you could always pick up in another area, right? So you could manage the supply and demand using predictive analytics and other tooling. Okay, good, thank you. Nothing else from me.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Limatech. And again, certainly looking forward to seeing what you guys are going to be showcasing into the South African market and beyond. Our fourth, or rather third page, will be Macro Africa. Alifani, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome. Welcome, welcome. MECO developed TempCars, an automated online temperature and humidity monitoring system for cold chain assets. TempCars offers seamless monitoring on PC and mobile phones for all temperature, humidity, data-related balances. One is quite interested to find out if it can assist us with all these cold fronts that we've been experiencing. So, Alinafe, over to you. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Let me switch on my video. All right. All right, thank you so much. My name is Alinafe Kaliwa. I'm the CEO. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Macro Africa. Basically, driven by innovation and the Internet of Things, we are passionate about providing Africa's best, cheap, and easy to use business technology services, and with the aim of a connected and prosperous African continent. This is a story of a milk backing group of farmers in Cholo, a district in the southern part of Malawi. These farmers formed a cooperative to collectively sell their milk to Lilongwe Dairy Limited, which processes it into different products. However, 60% of the milk was spoiling before the company would collect it, and this prompted the company to install cooling plants for better milk storage and preservation. Nevertheless, about 300,000 liters of milk was still spoiling every month, mainly due to an unalerted performance of failures of the cooling plants. And this is just one of those examples of SMEs out there who are suffering losses due to inadequate and unalerted temperature monitoring. Temperature monitoring is very critical, not only to dairy industry, but across industries like grain storage, drugs, vaccines. We hear of COVID now. The vaccine has to be stored under some temperature, storage, and many more other industries. In Africa, more than 80% of the products and processes that we use and we consume are not adequately monitored. As a result, SMEs lose a lot of money due to the temperature-related product damages, which end up damaging their products. Of course, food, drugs, vaccines also become toxic when exposed to unfavorable storage conditions, and this also poses a health hazard to the human beings. In a search for solutions, it was found out that many SMEs are able to, were unable to use the existing technologies because they are relatively expensive for them. They are not user-friendly. They require special infrastructure, say maybe Wi-Fi or local area networks. And of course, some of them are also use case specific. This is where our team came up with TempClass, a relatively cheap, easy to use remote temperature monitoring system for cold chain management. The system has control units as the one which is I'm showing on the screen, which is equipped with sensors, and these sensors take temperature readings, and the control unit sends those readings to the cloud server using readily available mobile telecom infrastructure. The user then accesses the data using a web-based interface or an Android application that they install on their phone and also on their PC. Alerts are also sent when the unfavorable condition is detected in their assets. This slide shows the user interface and the alerts in text and in email. We provide TempClass as a service to SMEs and individuals based on B2B and B2C respectively. We also plan to sell it as a software as a service to large companies and the temperature large enterprises and other temperature monitoring service providers based on B2B and also based on B2B2B or B2B2C respectively. This far, we have run 3 successful pilots with Delibot Zimbabwe, Lilongwe Daily, Chipiku Plus Stores, which is a reputable chain store in Malawi. We have also successfully defended some awards, more than 5 internationally, and we have also footprints in 2 countries, South Africa and Malawi. This is how we plan to enter our market. We are finalizing our beta testing by the end of 2021, starting patent registration 2022, and installing production and assembly equipment for commercial pilot rollout in 2023. This is our projection in terms of revenue, where we are planning to make a substantial profit in 2024, all things being equal. But still, we can also make profit in 2023 if we happen to have some investment in 2022. Our team is comprised of myself as a product developer, Mr. Ndwandwe as a business development and growth expert, Mr. Mhango as a computer programmer, Mr. Mabuza as a commercial legal advisor, Evelyn Baston as a food industry expert. Together, we can increase the profitability of SMEs. Together, we can increase the safety of food, drugs, and vaccines. Together, we can reduce hunger by preventing food wastage. And indeed, together, we can make Africa a healthy and a prosperous continent.
Right in the nick of time, Alinafe. And just for the sake of diversity, Murigwanji, lovely to always come across entrepreneurs who are co-creating and capitalizing on the diverse opportunities that are available on this continent. You know the drill? 2 minutes to the judges. Who will take the icebreaker first?
Okay, so I'm happy to go. Just got some sequential questions. So what is your ability to hit the market in terms of from a financial sense? So what do you actually need in order to make this work? Because when you speak about sensor technology, you talk about IoT interfaces, you talk about all of those things. You have an investment entry point in order to scale this. What is that entry point and how do you intend getting there?
Sorry, I'm not getting you probably. Maybe my internet. Maybe if you could repeat the question.
Sure. So there is a financial or an investment entry point in order to make this entire solution work. And I know you spoke about the pilots, but in order to get it to scale and to really make sure that it starts becoming a true business, you have a investment entry point. What is that investment entry point in order to start allowing scale to happen? I'll also switch off my video. Maybe that might help.
Yeah, maybe that can help. Yeah, go ahead. I'm here.
Okay, so my question is, as an entry point into the market, I understand that you've done some piloting, but those are largely proof of concepts, right? In order to get this to scale, what is your investment threshold that you need in order to start getting this business to work?
Yeah, so we're expecting, as a precursor, we are expecting to get ourselves incubated as we are waiting for enough inflow. But at the moment, we are looking for a tune of, say, maybe $200,000, so that we get to patent first the innovation. We run through the standards, so we get some standards, and then we roll out. But for now, we'll still be piloting with some of the SMEs that we have, which will be giving us some inflow as we wait for the advanced entry into the market. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, that's good. And who is your core customer?
Again, my core customer.
Your core customer. Who's your primary customer?
I say we are looking at SMEs who are in the cotton business. Mostly these SMEs are dairy industry and meat industry, where, I mean, they have got some cold rooms installed maybe in the city. So we are looking at backing groups. We are looking at farmer cooperatives as our precursor for now. But
okay, then just
we are also expanding to little chain stores, like say maybe Spar, ShopRite, so that maybe we can also assist them in modeling their coaching systems.
Okay, cool. And then just a final quick question. You have a heavy reliance on technology and connectivity. Now, in the African market, where you are primarily starting to play, connectivity is generally a problem. So do you have a solution to overcome that? Because if you're using sensor technologies, and then going into the landscape of data and AI, that is a challenge. What's your view on that?
Normally, thank you so much for that very good question. That's why we came up with this technology, because we thought our technology uses up to the lower standards of the network, which is 2G, which normally is available even in remote areas. So when we're piloting the first units, we found out that we needed to drop to the standards to the lowest standards of communication, which is 2G. So our recent designs are featuring the lowest standards, and that's why we are able to say we will be able to launch the units even in remote areas.
No, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Alinafe. Good luck.
Thank you.
Awesome. Much appreciated for those questions, judges. They are certainly preparing all the pitches when we get to the global stage. Our next pitch is from Vitruvian Medical Diagnostics, who will be represented by Deaftouch. And their company aims to make diagnostic pathology more accessible using technology. Deaftouch, are you here?
Yes, hi, can you guys hear me?
Awesome, we can hear you. And
I'm just about to share my screen.
All right, great. And while you're sharing your screen, I'll just finish off this description. So through your low-cost digitization hardware and software, they enable digital pathology, allowing small labs in peripheral areas to provide high-quality diagnostic services to more people. We are certainly looking forward to hearing your pitch. You know the drill.
Thanks.
5 minutes.
Just let me know. Can you guys see my screen, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect.
All right. All the best.
Thanks. A month before my 30th birthday, I lost my grandmother to cancer. The sad truth is that she'd been going for scans for years, and for years, doctors found nothing. When she was finally diagnosed, it was too late. 70% of disease diagnoses are dependent on some type of diagnostic test. Core to diagnosis and treatment, access to accurate and efficient diagnostic pathology is essential to saving lives and achieving a healthy society. Unfortunately, if you live in Africa, the odds aren't in your favor. Imagine your diagnosis being decided by a coin toss. Well, this is a reality. In some forms of diagnostic, intra-expert variance can be as high as 80%. In fact, a coin toss will give you better odds. Structural inequalities and lack of resources often prevent access to even basic diagnostic tests and procedures. There's approximately 1 pathologist for every 1 million people in sub-Saharan Africa, and only 1 in 2 Africans are able to pay for these services without facing financial ruin. As a result, most people in the region are not able to access or afford adequate testing, and even when they can, delays, infrastructure challenges, and inaccurate tests often lead to questionable results and inappropriate or absent treatment. My grandmother was lucky to have access to the scan she needed. Unfortunately, she was unlucky with accuracy, but at least she had a chance. There are 3.5 billion people who don't. Something's wrong. Technology holds a solution. At Vitruvian MD, our mission is to break down the barriers that prevent access to healthcare through our decentralized, artificial intelligence-powered medical diagnostic assistant designed for the unique challenges of emerging markets. Our low-cost solution consists of 3 key pillars. Our customized camera device that instantly digitizes any microscope enables digital telepathology and allows images and videos to be captured and streamed to any pathologist anywhere in the world. Our labeling platform allows annotated databases to be created, supporting custom AI development research and collaboration. Our analysis application suite, which is powered by our AI engine, analyzes these images to provide real-time decision support, optimizing workflow, increasing accuracy, reducing turnaround time, and scaling scarce human skills. Our cloud-based platform breaks down geographical barriers to access, making high-quality, consistently accurate diagnostic intelligence available anywhere. We instantly transmit critical data, removing the cost and time delays of physical transportation that has a negative impact on diagnostic accuracy. By seamlessly fitting into existing operating procedures, we make adoption easy. No need for training, no need for costly integrations. While we focus on pathology, our technology can easily be applied to other industries such as water testing, mining, agriculture, and animal health, in each allowing businesses to handle more cases with limited resources. To reach product market fit, the founders self-funded for 2 years and recently closing a seed round led by a Singaporean-based health tech venture firm. Our progress proves our investability. Pilots with major labs across multiple fields of diagnostics showing the scalability and robustness of our platform, demonstratable accuracy above 90% with a 10x reduction in analysis time, strategic medical partner that holds 25% market share in the private pathology space, our ability to integrate with third-party hardware, proving our flexibility to work with existing lab equipment, and progressing discussions with labs in Zimbabwe and Mozambique, and of course, our medical device license. Pathology is an ever-growing market, and as long as people age, as long as the population grows, our opportunity grows. Emerging markets alone process over 22 billion cases each year. The investment bank in me knows that this is an industry we need to be invested in. This pandemic has shown the importance of remote working and the benefits of technology in resource-constrained environments. As such, digital pathology is poised for rapid growth. VMD's traction in development and our key relationships in Africa position us well to capitalize on this. As we move toward growth, our business model based on a charge per scan allows costs to scale with volume, making our technology affordable to smaller labs. Our strong relationships with major medical distributors will help us grow into other African countries, and our ability to integrate with other hardware providers allows us to tap into their established supply chains. Given where we are, we project revenue to emerge in 6 months and thereafter expect growth to continue as we cross regulatory hurdles in different regions. United by a shared vision, the business is driven by an inventive, optimistic, highly talented team with expertise in business, AI, software, and biomedical engineering. These skills are supplemented by our strategic pathology partners who bring their expert medical knowledge to our development process. Vitruvian is poised for growth, but to fuel this, we're looking for industry players to pilot our product and partners to help lower the cost of delivering our technology to new markets. So join us, and together let's positively impact the lives of millions. Join us, and together let's make accessibility a reality. Thanks.
Wow, very interesting. I almost want to say, yes, I want to be part of this revolution. I've learned quite a bit and have a few pointers.
Yeah.
Yes, certainly a few pointers to read about over the course of the weekend. Judges, who will take the first stab? And let's aim to keep it to 2 questions so that we can keep to time.
I don't mind jumping in first. So I just wanted to ask, so you mentioned the pilot phase there. Have you identified a pilot that you'd like to roll out, and what does that plan look like for you?
So we're already rolling out pilots. So the first pilot that we have is in histopathology. So that's in skin detection, where we look at abnormal versus normal. And over there, we're doing load balancing. So you're getting a whole lot of cases coming into the lab. And instead of a pathologist, is very expensive per hourly basis, looking through all different cases, 80% of them not actually being critical, we pre-filter this normal, abnormal, and then, the abnormal cases, which are actually more serious, will go to the pathologist first, and then, the rest get processed. So that's already live. We've got a pilot in hematology, so that's in differential cell counts, and one now that we've kicked off in andrology, so that's in analyzing sperm cells for and motility.
Great, thanks.
Cool.
So thanks very much for a fascinating presentation. I think there's great amounts of benefit through digital transformation. In terms of your key customers, is that primarily the labs, and they have the affordability to be able to give you an uptake of this proposition?
That's right. So our key clients would be labs. So it's actually anywhere where there's diagnostic testing happening. So it would be labs, it would be clinics, like mobile clinics as well. It will be some hospital groups, but wherever there's a lab environment, somebody's looking down a microscope to make an inference. We've recently been chatting to people from the veterinary space, where they were talking about vets having to carry microscopes, etc., and go in field. So bottom line, wherever there's a microscope being used and somebody's looking down it to decide something, that's our target market, and that's why it's beyond pathology. If we look at it, and water testing, mining, agriculture, all of that falls in the same realm.
And the ultimate benefit for them is that as opposed to traditional lab testing, this gives them cost optimization together with a whole lot of data insights, which they ordinarily wouldn't have. Am I right in assuming that?
Okay, that's right. But there's additional benefits to that. So cost and optimization are important, but there's a big problem in Africa, and that's being skills shortage. So what we actually do is we're saying you've got a limited number of people, 1 to 1 million, let's say the pathology space, 1 pathologist to 1 million people. Now you have to serve those people. So what our technology allows you to do is take lower skilled staff, but overlay the intelligence that we've encoded here, that's of the skilled pathologist, and allow you to still facilitate the same level of diagnosis and produce that level of accuracy out into the market. So that's also a really big thing here. It's this bridge, and we're filling this gap where there's a shortage of skills, and making it available in hard to read, more remote areas.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you once again for that pitch. And moving on to our next pitch. Elucidate artificial intelligence. And this is going to be presented by Dionysus Ferios. Are you here, Dionysus? All right, it's Dennis. So it means the incorrect spelling is on our side, because I thought we were having a Greek. Yes, I thought we were having a Greek god who will be presented.
It is my full name.
Is it?
I can't confirm to being a Greek god. That's a bit of a stretch.
All right, that's just me trying my luck. So as you are setting up, I'll just give our judges and listeners a quick intro, Elucidate AI is a machine learning boutique firm which offers data analytics and artificial intelligence solutions in marketing, credit, as well as other industries. They offer as well as operate a unique shared value model where one only gets paid if value is delivered. Are you ready with your pitch, Dennis?
I am. I'm going to ask Marom and myself are also are both going to be pitching. So I'm just going to ask Marom to start the pitch, if that's okay.
All right. Best wishes.
Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Perfect. Firstly, I just wanted to say that I'm honored to be here and I've gotten so far in the process. My name is Marom. I founded Elucidate just under 2 years ago. I won't hop on. I just want to hand over to my colleague Dennis, who's just going to introduce himself and tell you a little bit about Elucidate, and I'll talk to you a bit later.
Sorry, everyone. So I'm a data specialist at Elucidate. I'm a chemical engineer by trade, but I moved into AI because I believe that we are at the pinnacle of our capacity for problem solving when we work with artificial intelligence, which is what we do at Elucidate. We are a predictive analytics solution provider operating mainly in credit, marketing, and call center spaces. And effectively, we design solutions for businesses and organizations to help them make better decisions. And it is this focus on decision-making that differentiates us from other firms. But before I get into the details of exactly what we do, I just want to spend a bit of time to talk about what AI is and how it can add benefit to a modern company. So on a high level, artificial intelligence deals with the design of intelligent systems that learn and improve with experience. Common examples of this are things like Siri and Google Maps that get better the more times you use them. Now, large modern companies have become increasingly more complex. And since everything is becoming digitized, these companies are generating an astronomical amount of data. For example, say you have 50 customers. If you run a good operation, then you probably know all of these customers intimately, and you're capable of anticipating all of their needs. If you have 100 customers, this is still possible, but becomes increasingly more difficult. But this becomes impossible when we move into the thousands or hundreds of thousands of customers. And at that point, human knowledge becomes, our capacity to deal with that depth of knowledge deteriorates, and our decision-making also deteriorates. But the beauty of AI is that it works in exactly the opposite way. As these data volumes grow, AI's decision-making gets better, and that is where AI can add serious value. And so as long as these data volumes grow, the potential for companies like us to grow in market value also increases, because we leverage this data to generate value by focusing on decision-making. And by virtue of this data, every company is an AI company. And how are we changing lives with AI? So Marom will focus on more specific use cases of this, but generally our solutions focus on the improvement of financial inclusion and access to opportunities for more people and businesses. So over to you, Marom.
Thanks, Dennis. We've selected some examples. So the first one is Advantage. It's an international microlender who gives several 100,000 loans per day. And they had a team of credit analysts making those decisions through a rules-based system. What we've done is we've worked a machine learning solution, which is based on a series of algorithms that make decisions in real time on who to extend airtime loans to and who not to. And the end result, in short, was that more advances were granted with lower bad debt, and which of course results in higher profit. But I think this also speaks to Dennis's financial inclusion point, that it helps extend credit to more people. And we've replicated this sort of things across other industries, SME finance, and open banking. The next example, very different, Australia Awards. That's an initiative run by the Australian government to grant scholarships to promising leaders. Basically, they have essays that get submitted in answers to questions, and it's very hard to automate and manually review all of these. So we created a system that will almost literally understand the language, understand the essays, and predict which are likely to be good applications. and it saved immense amounts of time for their staff. The next thing is our customers absolutely love us. In just under 2 years, we've managed to be the top ranked AI consultancy on G2, popular review site, and we've actually only grown by referral. We've never done any bit of marketing. Our executive team, so I've already introduced myself, but Mark Holly and Michael Ruffy, who are listening, are pioneers in the financial industry, in the technology industry, and they've scaled and built multiple businesses, and we're very lucky to have them on board. Lastly, and most importantly, I think the main reason I think we've had any bit of success is that our team is pretty unbelievable. My goal when I started the company was to be the dumbest person in the company, and that's something I think I've achieved really well. We've actually realized we have more cum laude graduates than non-cum laude graduates in the company, which I think is pretty unique. And just to end off, I'd like to thank the team for their amazing work, and they're the reason we have. And looking forward to the questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much for ending on that really entertaining note. Yeah, let me hold my tongue. Judges, who will take the first stab?
Let me take the first stab, if that's okay. Marum, Dennis, a great presentation to you and the team. Yeah, very topical in terms of AI. So I think the timing of your coming to market is quite good. So I definitely commend you on that. The question that I have for you is a little bit more related. If you could unpack your business model for us a little bit more. During the intro, there was made mention of that you get paid when value is delivered. So if you could define that for us or elaborate a bit more.
Absolutely. Would have loved to mention in the presentation, just ran out of time. And I see you guys are pretty strict. So just to answer that, we have our value is a shared value model where we're quite entrepreneurial. We'll often take projects on risk where we say, if it doesn't work, don't pay us. And often we take part in the upside where we'll do some sort of revenue share, which when you're partnering with a big company allows us to kind of like leverage their existing huge customer base to kind of grow very quickly. And we've built quite a lot of IP. So every time we develop a solution, the next one we build like takes significantly shorter. So that's part of the scaling part of the business.
Great, thank you. That's all from my side.
Okay, so thanks very much. Insightful presentation. Just want to understand your differentiators from a market that is now starting to really take off. There are many, many players, even though there's a scarcity of skills in this market around the AI data space. So which sort of sectors do you see yourself leaning more towards, and where do you see your differentiator coming from?
Sure. So there's two questions there. I'm going to try and unpack each one. So firstly, in terms of sectors we've currently targeted, so financial services, we do a fortune in. We power about $1 million in decisions a day. And doing quite a bit in marketing and call centers, like those two things, like customer experience-based stuff, which is, I know it's very different, but it's sort of, it seems to just really work for us. We power about 2 million decisions there a day. Sorry, I'm just trying to think come back to your other question. So I think our main differentiator is best explained through an example, actually. We've gone head to head for some of our customers with actual like control groups and whatever with high-flying Silicon Valley-based customers who've raised like $40, $100 million, whatever it is. And we've beat them like repeatedly. I think it's hard to say what the secret sauce is. My feeling is that it's the team and the culture that we've built. It's like very big on experimentation and learning and trying everything. And I think it shows. We've never lost in a head-to-head competition. So I think by example, it kind of shows where our edge is.
No, that's great. And a lot of your product set or your methodology is replicable, right? I think that's an important point just to double check.
Yeah, absolutely. And also just to mention, I think I look at us as also like kind of an incubator of ideas. We've spun off other businesses in the past, like a year and a bit, that have really scaled amazingly. So what we're doing, it seems to be working.
Good, thank you. Well done.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask, you mentioned that you haven't done any marketing and that all of your clients have come via referral. Do you have a go-to-market strategy in place or any future plans for marketing?
So we do have. We're kind of trying to launch some sort of ambassador program in foreign markets where we think we can add a lot of value. It's something that's very much like in the works, but not really done. I think at the moment we're actually capacity is more the thing. We have really high standards for hiring, and that's been a limitation. I think a separate point, but related to scaling, is we have quite a bit of funding in order to scale should we wish to. We've actually never used a cent of any of that funding. We've been profitable from the beginning.
Great, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, judges, for those interesting questions. If AI was a type of meal, it would definitely be the most ordered on a menu. As we are approaching halfway, we've got 2 more pitches left. At least Katleho has confirmed that all is sorted on his side. But before we get to Katleho, we have the National Housing Stockfile represented by Alfonso. Alfonso, are you here?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. So while you were setting up your presentation and switching on your video, I'll quickly tell everyone what the National Housing Stockfile Company is about. It's a for-profit social enterprise with a focus on affordable housing and adjacent opportunities. They offer 0% interest-free loans on low to middle income earners. They are also in the process of pivoting themselves as one of many fintech entrepreneurs in South Africa. Alfonso, you know the drill. Yeah. 5 minutes and we'll catch you then.
Thank you very much. I do apologize for not switching on my video. I do seem to have problems with the IT.
No worries. Please go ahead. At least we can hear you nicely.
Okay, so my name is Alfonso Slinger, and I obviously represent the National Housing Stockfile Company. Now, our story is founded in our why. Now, why the 0% interest? Now, we believe that everyone has the right to own a home. We also believe that the home is a foundational building block of wealth. We believe in a fairer, more humane way of housing people. And we have a desire to see successful, thriving communities. And we believe that our recipe for success is in our human-centeredness. In terms of market size, South Africa alone has a housing backlog of more than 2 million units, estimated at more than 800 billion. Now, the NHSC, even if it captures only 1.5% of that market, will capture around about 12 billion rands. Now, the company has a goal of developing more than 100,000 units by 2030. Social housing is also a very key contributor towards the company's bottom line, and we have a target of 6,000 social housing units. Now, rapid urbanization, rising house prices, lack of housing, rental stock, as well as rental fuels add all to the housing crisis. Now, the 3 main stumbling blocks for most people are affordability, adverse credit rating, and lack of collateral. Less than 40% of home loans for those earning less than 15,000 rands per month do get approved. And more than 32% of those mortgage applications are rejected due to adverse credit ratings. Also, in terms of the world market, is an estimated backlog is standing at 17 trillion US dollars. Now, via our share option scheme, we offer rent to buy installments, affordable rentals. We want to build more affordable housing. How it works, a client will log onto the website, will register, choose the product, and begin the monthly debit. We invest that money. After a period of time, the client will request an allocation. The company will buy the house after appropriating the shares, and then the client repays us over a period of 15 years at 0%. Now, our business model, we think of it as more as like a large, because we are a membership-based for-profit social enterprise. We are also subscription-based. We have mixed revenue in terms of rentals as well as the housing developments. Our target is to secure more than 80,000 customers. We also, through our rent-to-own scheme, we believe that we would be able to increase home ownership for as little as 1,945 Rand per month. And there's myself. I'm also aided by Chris and Zama, and we're also in the process of going and hiring more people. The ask for us, of course, is we're seeking 25 million to scale optimally, and that is for offers, the redesign of the website, FSP, as well as the marketing, telephony, and ensuring that we have sufficient working capital to do and achieve what we want to achieve. So thank you very much, people. Are there any questions?
Nicely done, Alfonso. And in a space of 4 minutes and 30 seconds, which means an extra 30 seconds to the judges for their Q&A. Any questions are welcome, judges.
So, Alfonso, thanks very much. Other than the 25 million that you're looking for to kick off, right, or kick ahead, I should say, what is your biggest inhibitor other than that, or your biggest challenge that you see?
Well, currently our biggest challenge is the website. We've had crazy prices when it comes to people quoting us on the design, on the interactive thing that we want. So we are searching the market. I shared with somebody that the price that we had received for what we wanted, it was like 6 million, and we flatly refused. We are also currently speaking to Akili as well as other companies in the industry to find a more competitive price based on what we are seeking.
I can tell you as a guarantee, you can get a website done for a fraction of that price. So certainly don't spend 6 million. The one other thing that I just wanted to check with you is that your level of contingency, right? I understand your business model is based on volume of people over a period of time. What is your sort of threshold of those that don't pay before your business model fails?
All right, we are working on a contingency of 30%. Okay. So we are quite comfortable accommodating those as long as we are below the 30% margin.
Okay, thanks. I'll give others a chance. Thanks.
All right, I suppose we don't have another question pending. Judges, everything all good? Okay.
Can I ask one more question because we have the time? In terms of your scale and your reach, are you looking at taking advantage of specific regions or provinces? And do you see your model as being replicable beyond South Africa?
Indeed. We want to be a global player. We believe that we can be a global player. In terms of the first part of being regional, some provinces are more amenable to housing than others are currently. We, for instance, are busy with negotiating with a development both in the Eastern Cape and in the Free State, as well as Gauteng. And then in terms of scalable, yes, one of the reasons why we want a a website that would have the necessary both front and back end, is to ensure that we are able to reach beyond South Africa. So it's South Africa, Africa, and then the rest of the emerging markets.
That's good. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for that concluding question, Ziaad. To our last pitch of this first round, last but certainly not least, Katlego from Ortune Group. Katlego, are you finally with us?
Yes, I'm with you. Can you hear me?
Hey, wonderful. I see that you are sharing your presentation. While you're doing that, let me just remind the judges and everyone watching a little bit about what Ortune Group is. It is a digital business-to-business distribution company which aggregates independent retailers and informal traders by buying in bulk for better pricing from suppliers. Katlego, 5 minutes to you. All the best.
Good afternoon to the judges. My name is Katlego. I'm from Rustenburg. How I came up with the company or the solution was that I move a lot and I don't know how to cook. Yes?
Just a quick one. Are you using your phone or laptop?
I'm using my phone.
Okay. Is it possible for you to rotate your phone so that we can see a fuller screen of your presentation?
Okay.
Let's explore. We'll pause your time that you started. Let's explore if there's a rotate option.
There is, but even the study IT, I think I must. Is it rotated now?
Not yet. There we go. Yes, we have a full-blown presentation. Thank you.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Apologies to the judge. Just my name is Katlego. How I came up with the solution was that I move a lot. I've stayed in three provinces. So because of moving a lot, I don't know how to cook. I eat at the cheapest place I can find. So the cheapest place is usually it's informal retailers that cook. So I came usually when I order my food. Usually they'll tell me that they don't have the stock, they don't have the water, they don't have electricity. So I came up with a company named Ortune. The problem statement is that because I saw that why these independent retailers they don't grow, I saw that financial products are really available to them due to the lack of data and sustainability and limited growth opportunities of their businesses. Let me just give an overview. What is Ortune Group? Ortune is a digital business-to-business distribution company which aggregates independent retailers in the fast-moving consumer goods and agricultural products, buying in bulk for better pricing from suppliers while using the collected data to provide them with financing, designing and installation and maintenance of energy management solutions. Our market analysis is that the World Bank forecast that by 2030, the food market will grow to be 1 trillion industry. On the number of shops in that space, that 90% economies come through informal channels such as kiosks. The IFC estimate that South Africa MSME credit gap to be $30 billion. And the new estimates by the African Development Bank suggest that the continent infrastructure needs amount to 130 to 170 billion dollars a year. Because these independent retailers like where they sell, they struggle with people don't have electricity in a population of billion people. And with water, a recent World Bank study on the performance of water supply services in Africa, the regional utilities don't have the revenue to cover the cost. I did incorporate my solution my food business with the infrastructure, because I saw infrastructure is one of the biggest problems that hinders growth to these independent retailers and informal traders. How the system works. Independent retailers can order goods anytime through SMS, mobile app, social networks, while leveraging their historic purchases that are to provide them with engineering solution and financial instruments they cannot gain from banks. This is how we make money. Firstly, we charge earnings on margins of goods sold. Then with our energy and water management solution consultations, installations, and maintenance fees. We also provide them with credit, vehicle, we're also partnering with community trusted and stable sales agents. These independent retailers and informal traders, you can turn them into providers of other services such as your airtime, your electricity, to sell electricity. So that is how Ochun make money. Our financial ask will be $2 million. The 1 million will be for the inventory, the 250K for the transport cost, salaries, and for enhanced unforeseen events, we will have 100K. My team consists of me. I'm a mechanical fitter. I can say that I'm studying, or I have dropped out of mechanical engineering and information technology at UNISA. I used to work for an energy management company. I think that will be all. I don't know if the judges have a question for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Katlego. Right in the nick of time. Well done.
Thanks
Judges,
so much.
please.
Just a question from my side. Would you explain what your marketing strategy is?
Our marketing strategies, how even though I don't grasp the question, how are we gonna really market our businesses? We'll go to the independent retailers and informal retailers on a monthly basis. That's how we're gonna go about with marketing our business. I don't know if.
Thank you.
And my presentation, if anyone require it, you can always shout out. I'll send it to you sometime.
So, yeah, from my side, thanks very much. I'm trying to understand where the $2 million requirement comes from, right? Because essentially the way I see your business is it's largely distribution, should be using digital platforms, and ultimately you get scale through that, right? Now, when I look at a business like this, you know, you're using largely products and services that come from other places. You are the aggregator to an end user, right? So, you know, in order to scale that, really the large investment is more on the digital side rather than the people side, because that's how you want to scale. So that's the first point, right? And then the second point that I'm trying to understand is at what point in time does this business start becoming self-sustainable? So maybe if you could just give me some comments around that, that will help me.
How do we become sustainable?
Yeah, how do you become self-sustainable? How do you start making your own money where your profit line starts paying for your own expenses without somebody giving you capital funding all the time?
Okay, thank you for that question. I think because the reason also I went to this business is that it is not a complicated business. So I think just after we have our inventory, then we can start generating our own revenue. And I don't know if that answers your questions. Are you still there?
Yeah, so maybe let me try and see if I can simplify the question a bit more, right? And tell me if you get it. What I'm asking is that once you start your business, it's going to take you maybe 6 months before the business actually starts running, as an example, right?
Yes.
And is it going to be at sort of 6 months when you no longer need to keep putting money in, or is it going to be at 12 months? Have you done that piece of work to try and understand where your profit flows come from and when you are able to now really the business start looking after itself?
Well, my prediction will be within a year's time from now. That I think that's more reasonable. And
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you once again, Katlego, for concluding the first part of the pitches. Right now, I'll just ask everyone to switch on their videos and take a good stretch. Let's ensure that indeed we're taking a good stretch. Please switch on your videos. It would be nice to see faces before we get into an exciting part where my colleague Paulie will be addressing us shortly. Yep, stretch those arms. We're still together. We're still listening to one another. There we go. There we go. Oh, I'm loving the smiles, the backgrounds. There we go. Wonderful stuff, guys. Wonderful. So keep those smiles going. If you need to quickly grab a cup of tea, a glass of water, please do, because in the next 30 seconds, I will be welcoming my colleague, Paulie Sachs, who is the Gen Global Startup Program Manager. And we'll get to hear a lot more about what is this institution called Gen and what are they doing within the space of entrepreneurship. So actually now it's now 20 seconds because I've spent 10 seconds talking. So 20 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, grab that thing that you want to drink, even if it is within level 3 restrictions. All right, in the meantime, while people are fueling up, Paulie, I'll ask, are you there?
Yes.
There we go. Hi, Paulie. How are you doing on your end?
I'm well. It's 7:45 in the morning for me, and I woke up at 6. So I felt a little groggy, but I feel good now.
Oh, all right. I hope that the pictures have been giving you a bit of inspiration to tell that grogginess to step aside.
Yeah, it's been exciting.
Okay, now good stuff. I'm sure 20 minutes, or rather 20 seconds are up. So without further ado, once again, I welcome Paulie Sachs, who is the Gen Global Startups Program Manager. Paulie, over to you.
Morning. So I woke up this morning not knowing 100% sure how I would want to kick off this talk. It's both an honor and, for me, and it was hard for me to come up with a topic. So I kept thinking about how I felt. And I got to this point where I started thinking about all of the people that are showing up for this today and all the people that had worked to make this happen. And so I wanted to talk about how important it is to show up for your people and then tie that in a little bit to what we do at Gen. So first off, I want to say I was reading a book last night and I was reading about Harvard in the book. And it had nothing to really do with the content of what this is about, but I kept seeing Harvard and I never talked about Harvard. So my phone wasn't picking up on what I was saying. And this morning I'm scrolling through Twitter and I see all these ads for Harvard. And so I'm confused. I'm like, why am I seeing ads for Harvard? I just read about it. There's nothing in my brain that's giving any sort of data to some system or platform that would have let them know that I was thinking about Harvard. And so the reason I'm thinking about that and saying that right now is because I just find it so unbelievable how connected we all are and how easy it is for us to take for granted what we're experiencing right now. I know that it's become kind of a dreadful thing at times to have to always be on meetings on Zoom, but it's still so unbelievable and so fascinating. I'm calling in from Cleveland, Ohio right now to a pitch competition in South Africa because somehow in this world I got connected to this organization, Gen, who is empowering people with the platform to provide a voice for entrepreneurs. And I find it tremendously amazing that, you know, I get to have these ideas that I read on a piece of paper, and then I see this feed on Twitter talking about what I was thinking about. And then I get to enter this room with you all today, right now, and talk about entrepreneurship and these ideas and how it all connects in these weird ways, right? So I say all this to basically say that the world is small. And yes, COVID is awful. And I want to recognize that we're all in these tough places. And to kick off this talk by just giving a little bit of grace and appreciation for all the effort that the organizers have put in. So that's just the beginning of the talk. So who I am, I studied psychology, clinical psychology at Kent State University in Ohio. And I ended up leaving a doctoral program completely to pursue a startup in New York. And granted, I had this path and this idea of what should happen. And I ended up, just pursuing startups. Long story short, ended up meeting all the folks at GEN at one of the Global Entrepreneurship Congresses, which I'm sure that Anna Maria and everyone else from the GEN Sloan 22 is probably telling you guys all about. It's our annual conference where we bring together all of our delegations from around the world. And you know, we convene to talk and support entrepreneurs. Anyway, I ended up pursuing entrepreneurship, and I found myself in this role. Basically at GEN, we have a platform of programs and initiatives where we are trying to build ecosystems and support these communities. EWC is obviously one of them. And we run as well the Global Business Angel Network and Startup Huddle. We run research and policy, and a few other flagship programs like I mentioned before, the Global Entrepreneurship Congress. A lot of them you might never see because it might not be relevant to you, but you're here right now, which is the key thing. So, so I want to get to a little bit more to the point to the talk. And if you do have any other questions about GEN, I can kind of touch on that if you need to, or anyone can follow up with me. I've worked pretty closely with Malatsi with Startup Huddle. So if you know her or you get connected with her through the program, I'm more than willing, and I always have my door open. So again, as you probably know, I'm not from South Africa. I grew up in a little city that was once the mecca of the Industrial Revolution in the 20th century. We were known for innovation in steel and manufacturing, electricity and lights, and chemicals and cars. Great minds came here and built some of the largest companies that the world has ever seen. But by the time I was born, 50% of the people had left the city. And by the way, I'm talking about Cleveland, Ohio, which is this beautiful background that you see. What was left of the city once everyone moved away because all the industrial companies had to leave were empty buildings and resilient people who had learned the value of what they had because they had extreme sense of loss. The sense of loss is where I found my courage to pursue entrepreneurship, which kind of gets to my story from before. It gave me a sense of courage to do everything in my power to light up the path for those who may never have had the opportunity to get a glimpse of what's on the other side. And I believe a lot of us feel the same, and that we pursue these endeavors, every single person pitching here today, no matter how tough they get, because we have a vision for this world. You know, I'm saying this because every person up here is putting themselves in a vulnerable position, and everyone who's supporting this competition is doing hard work that is sometimes a thankless job. So, you know, I'm saying that because I think it's important for us to recognize that. So I believe that we all deserve to see our vision through. Each person on this stage, regardless if you're successful with the endeavor that you're in right now or not, deserves to see a vision that they see for themselves and a dream that they have. They deserve to find out and see what that's like, right? I think we all deserve that. And that's the point of my talk, which is to discuss what I believe is the key ingredient to being successful as an entrepreneur and as a person in general. It's the importance of showing up for yourself and your people, getting out of bed despite all of your grief, and frustration and loss, finding some way of humbling yourself and showing up for the work that today demands of you. Smiling and respecting those in your community, helping your team solve their problems and do the best work they can possibly manage today, right now. Showing up for yourself and your people will require you to be vulnerable, stay up late, wake up early. I woke up at 5 this morning. I know how hard it is sometimes to balance these time zone differences or just show up for work. So at Gen, I've found a different perspective on entrepreneurship, one that is more accepting and tolerant of the entrepreneurial journey, the thing that you're all going through right now. I don't know if people who don't pursue entrepreneurship, people who can't think of the difficulties we face trying to build products, talk to customers, raise money, I don't think they'll ever be able to comprehend what those struggles are. And so when you watch people go through this journey in every corner of the universe, you see that there's no way to make it easier. You know, at Gen, I've had the chance to see every single, like, I think probably 140 different companies pitching, people working and trying to support entrepreneurs. The path is the same. There is no easy way to do it. And when I see that, it humbles me. You know, when I see someone, you know, facing a challenge or not able to figure out how to build this thing right or wanting to give up, it humbles me. And I want everyone else who's in that situation to feel humbled as well, because it's not supposed to be easy. But again, the point of the talk, it's to say the one thing you can do is to show up for your people and show up for yourself. You know, even if you still have grief or you feel frustrated today, or maybe you don't win or things don't go well in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, just remember that you can still show up for your people and show up for yourself. And if you keep doing that, things will work out well. You just can't give up. So I'm not giving this talk as some inspiring motivational speaker. I'm not that, but I wanted to say that in the context of what's happening at the EWC, because I know how tough this new type of programming is and how tough it is to get up out of your bed and not be able to see people eye to eye and be in that normal space that you're used to. I wanted to say that to give you some comfort, not inspire you, not motivate you. I'm not an expert, but I just wanted to provide a sense of comfort and to know and to let you know that Gen is here to support you, and I am as well. So in the face of all the obstacles and hardships you'll face on this journey, remember everyone who came before you, all those people who got out of bed, even though they really just wanted to sleep, and just remember them and do what you can for your community. Thanks.
As I'm listening to Paulie right now, I'm thinking we should have had you earlier just to break the ice, because even I am like, yes, I hear you. Entrepreneurship. I mean, so it's really, really refreshing and always a pleasing pleasure to meet and chat with like-minded people who are walking this entrepreneurial journey, just to be reminded, like you say, take comfort. The journey itself comes with its own fair share of smiles, frowns, tears, giggles, the whole 9 yards. So thank you so much for that. And I reckon the last 7 pitches will certainly take it to another level. Like this time around, they're just going to be feeling a whole lot of comfort. And
I hope so.
Indeed, indeed. Let me ask any of our judges or guests, actually 2 people, if they've got any specific questions for you. Please raise your hand in the chat function or just switch on your video and I'll call out your name. So we'll ask for 2 people if they've got any specific questions for you. Going once, going twice. Ziaad has switched on his video, so I'm going to assume he has a question. Judge
Yeah, thanks. It's easier to switch on the video than to find the place to put up the hand. So just a quick one. But thank you for the simple message, but very powerful message. I think a lot of people would warm to what you said, you know, and really appreciate you sharing that sentiment. So thank you. That's all I want to say. I echo your sentiment and I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, I had to be vulnerable this morning. It was
it's fantastic. Fantastic because it's authentic, right? And I think that's what the world needs. So well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that is lovely, Ziaad. Authenticity. Right, with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we have 7 more pitches to go. I'm going to ask Paulie, please do stick around so that we make sure by the time you start your day, guys here at SA have inspired you, they've tickled your fancy, and you're good to tackle whatever it is that may come your way. All good?
Yeah, I'm going to join from my phone. I still have to make coffee.
All right, then. Thanks again, Paulie. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Great. Our first pitch in this second round is from Deaftouch, and Deaftouch will be presented by Claiborne Appis. Claiborne, are you there? Awesome. Hi, Claiborne. Do you have a presentation? Okay. So while you're setting up your presentation, I'll tell the judges and our viewers a little bit about your venture. Deaftouch has a key focus on connecting the world to the deaf through their accessible communication solutions. And these solutions enable effective and efficiency between the deaf as well as the blind and organizations such as governments and private businesses that empower diversity. In essence, language no longer has barriers based on the products Deaftouch is creating. Claiborne, you know the drill. 5 minutes to you and 2 minutes to the judges. All the best, eh?
No need to check your mics or check if the captions are on. What you just experienced was a few seconds in the life of a deaf individual, having a language but no platform. Having spent 16 years of my life in call centers working for the leading insurance companies in South Africa, servicing both local and international markets, whenever confronted with having to assist a deaf client, there just was no efficient way to do so because no effective platform existed until now. What normally would take 30 minutes to transact as a phone call actually became a 3 to 5 day ordeal. This gave birth to our vision and purpose, which is to connect the world to the deaf using our accessible communication solutions, which enable organizations to better communicate with the deaf as well as the blind end user while assisting with diversity, equity, and inclusion. My name is Claiborne Appis, the founder and managing director of Deaftouch. The problem we're solving is quite simple. Have you ever asked yourself, how does a deaf person contact 10111? Well, for more than 4 million South Africans, this will never be a possibility simply because call centers do not have a plausible communication solutions to do so. Keeping in mind that according to HubSpot, more than 90% of people still prefer to speak to live customer service agents. The solution is quite simple: speak sign language. And how we assist organizations to do so is through video relay services, video remote interpretation, as well as deaf-to-deaf call center functionality, which is just a few of the products in our suite, enabled by our award-winning software called Solves. Solves is a software-based voice, video, and text call distribution system and forms the backbone of Deaftouch's technology. It is fully customizable, scalable, and reachable from most video endpoints in use today, including our very own apps launched through iOS or available on Android, as well as laptop and web RTC. We are a B2B and B2G business model. And through the sales of our software, we assist organizations to increase their brand reputation, access new markets, improve ESD scorecards, increase BEE points, preferential procurement, deliver services to the deaf, and most importantly and close to our heart, assist with a high unemployment rate that the deaf experience, which currently sits at 75%. Our competitive advantage lies in our software. And our software, in fact, adds great value to existing platforms in that we've solved the complexity that sign language brings to the equation, creating a more comprehensive communication environment. In fact, our competitors now become our customers. In South Africa alone, there are over 1,900 call centers, keeping in mind that more than 4 million deaf South Africans currently cannot access services. Very important to note, though, is that South African call centers contribute over 53 billion in annual GDP. Globally, there are more than 460 million deaf people, and call centers generate over $400 billion in call center revenue. Our traction has brought us to a point where our MVP is now ready to go to market. Existing projects with modern-centric, basic Department of Education, as well as the State's Information and Technology Agency, will see us roll out into various government departments and help the deaf access services. The partners that has made this MVP possible include Innovation Hub, Think Room, 22 Sloan, InnoEcos, which is a Chinese-based innovation company, deaf empowerment firm, as well as SME.Tex. Our MVP has also received great recognition, and we currently hold or boast in being voted by Fast Company SA as one of the most innovative companies in South Africa for 2021. Furthermore, GEP, GovTech, as well as EY has recognized our software. And we are also set to expand into the national waters, or international waters rather, through Dongqing International Incubator, the Embassy of France, as well as Digital Africa. You will see us able to take the software into China, France, the Nordic regions of Europe, as well as the rest of Africa, not forgetting India. This traction has been possible through an amazing team with a combined experience of 70 years in various fields, including marketing, finance, technology, PR and communications, as well as administration and call center operations. And we also both with the world's first chief spiritual officer responsible for spiritual strategy and alignment. We are looking for access to markets, a telecommunications partner, a private sector partner to demo our software with, as well as 3 million rand in funding to take us to market. So at Deaftouch, we believe that we can give a voice to the deaf and give others the tools to listen. So now you can rest assured that a deaf person can call 1011. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Claiborne. I want to make sure I heard you well. Did you say Chief Spiritual Officer?
That's correct.
Interesting. I'm sure one of the judges will ask a question about that. Judges?
So Claiborne, it's Ziaad here.
Hi Ziaad, how are you?
Hi, well, and you? Firstly, well done. I think it's certainly a very touching presentation, because I think often in society you forget about marginalized communities. So I think the fact that you guys consider that and you're looking to bridge, you know, the digital world to communities that are left behind is really a touching thing. So firstly, congratulations and well done on that thought leadership. In terms of the traditional space, I just want to understand, do current call centers use voice to text? Is that how they generally communicate? And what is the current bridging divide? I'm trying to understand where you're trying to jump from to where you're trying to jump to.
Okay, so thank you. Very, very good question. At the moment, IVRs just offer speech only at present. So in call centers, everything is speech-based. Because there is no video interaction, there's also no transfer from speech to text. And that is also where we bridge the gap. That's one of the areas that we do cover. Most importantly, also we bring in the video element, because as you've noted, sign language is very important to this 460 million rather global deaf citizens, because that is their chief mode of communication, where text also becomes one of the alternatives. So when you bring the two together, you create a more inclusive environment. But just to attach or just to add on to what the question was, which is a really amazing question, is because keep in mind, we're trying to create an inclusive society. And it doesn't help that because we're bringing the marginalized community, you know, into the mainstream, that we're going to create another marginalized community. So existing call centers don't need to lose their staff members. They can keep their staff members. They also don't need to, in fact, teach the existing staff members sign language, because our software enables them to bring a remote-based translator into a call, much like we are now. This is an amazing platform, but there's no translations. I asked a question earlier, just as a build-up. I asked, where's captions? And if I was truly blind, I wouldn't know not a thing that you were saying. We are almost 2 hours into our session, and there's no captions. Had I been truly deaf, Ziaad, I was totally excluded from this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Well done. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Inayeth.
Thanks so much, Claiborne. Beautiful presentation, and thank you for putting out that message. And this is strong to and close to my heart as well. So thank you for the work you're doing. I have two questions. So in terms of your funding, how are you going to allocate it, or what's your plans with the funding that you need? And then my second question would follow after that is, what if you don't get all the money that you're looking for?
Excellent questions. Thank you so much. Normally, it's always money, money, money. And I had an interesting conversation actually with Grace. Asked me, what do I really need? I'll be honest with you, Inayeth, I don't need money. That's the mistake that lots of entrepreneurs really make in the beginning, is because they've got this brilliant idea, and immediately the first or the next thought after this amazing idea is, I need money to make this possible. You don't need money. Something that resonates with me that Paulie said, it was really beautiful, and I'd like to sum it up like this, is that an entrepreneur's conviction is the first test. If they can pass the conviction test, money will come. I'm just really putting money in there because, you know what, I need money to travel. We need money to get ourselves out there. We need money to get to China. We need money to set up operations. We need money for that. But our conviction truly has been tested to its ultimate limits. And so whatever we get next, it's really just to expand, make sure that we set up in Africa, and also set the framework to be able to expand as soon as possible into China, into India, as well as into the Nordic regions of Europe, as well as France, because we've set up very strong connections through our various endeavors in terms of our traction. So yes, I hope that answers both questions. If it hasn't, please let me know.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much once again, Claiborne. I'm still thinking about this chief spiritual officer though.
Yeah, well, let me touch on it for a second quickly, GT, because it's something that is not heard of in the entrepreneurship world. But I find it so important to just reflect back on Paulie's amazing conversation, and I could truly feel what he was saying. The fifth industrial revolution is already underway. There's no question about it. And the fifth industrial revolution is focused on us, on people, where the fourth industrial revolution was focused on ensuring that there are tools to make that happen. And so now, like Paulie said, it feels like we're in the same room. We've got different backgrounds, but we're having an amazing conversation today. And so what becomes more important now is, what's the next level to our human existence, and how does technology and everything that life has brought to us bring that all together and take us to the next level? And that's why we need a chief spiritual officer, because that alignment is very necessary.
Let me know when applications are open.
So,
Ziaad, you had a question.
Yeah, I got one more question for you. I'm trying to understand who your buyers are going to be, right? And where you're looking to take this product set and how you're looking to scale it. So if you can maybe just answer that for me.
Brilliant question, Ziaad, and I thank you so much for that. When our go-to-market strategy is call centers, simply because I come from call centers, that need was identified in call centers. But once I started exploring actually how big this communication problem truly is, it opened up a whole new world for me, Ziaad. Education. A deaf person needs a proper teacher. If that proper teacher is not based in South Africa, it's not a problem. Let's connect him to someone that truly has a passion for sign language in Canada, and have a classroom where you've got a deaf student now that's able to get the best education, whether he is from Guguletu or whether he's sitting in the upper echelons of Sandton and Cape Town. It also then went to the fact that, Ziaad, you and I take simple things for granted. And it's not to say that we are ignorant about it. It's just that we're not affected enough by it. You've got a smartphone today. Please just do me one favor while we're all on this call. Pick up your smartphone just for 1 second for me, please. I need to just show you something. Go to your dial pad. Dial emergency 112 for me, please. Before you press dial to call out, picture for 1 second that you are deaf. Make that call. You see, so we don't realize how big this market truly is. So when it comes to scaling, Ziaad, we are going to make sure that every single area of life is touched. As a deaf person, you can't call emergency services. That means you can't call your hospital. As a deaf person, you need to speak to your doctor. You need a third party. As a deaf person, you need to transact with the bank and you are a bit stuck because you need to get a hold of customer services. You need a third party. You need to give them your ID number. You need to give them permission. You need to sign the letter of authority. So yes, sorry, man, I'm getting away a bit, but I hope it does answer your questions. Yeah, it's scalable to the umpteenth degree. It's an open canvas and we can literally write our own story.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you said that, right? Because I was hoping that you're not boxed into call centers. So I'm glad to hear your answer. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Great. We're going to have breakaway rooms for the judges as well as the candidates who've pitched today. And those conversations can carry on in plus minus 30 minutes. Moving on to the next pitch. It's from Silicon Energy, represented by Randolph. Randolph, I've seen you interact. There we go. Talk about being ready. As you're getting yourself ready, Silicon Energy Technology is a renewable energy company, which at its inception is focusing on solar energy. The entity does, however, plan to explore renewable energy options such as biogas, wind power, and hydroelectricity. Randolph, are you good to go?
Good to go, ma'am.
Awesome. 5 minutes to you. Your time starts now.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Randolph. I'm representing Silicon Energy. I'm the co-founder, director, and chief financial officer. But before we start, let me tell you a story. Let's take Vusi. Vusi is a student, and on a late Wednesday night, he's studying and the power goes off. Vusi is also the owner of an on-campus barbershop. He doesn't only use this to fund his tuition, but to pay for his livelihood. On the busiest day of the month, the power goes off yet again. Vusi meets myself, and before he does that, he gets a call from his mother. Distraught, she informs him that the house almost burns down because his sister was using candles to study, as they do not have access to electricity. Vusi proceeds to meet me and my partners, and we introduce him to the meter generator, a portable power source, and also introduce him to solar installation systems. He doesn't only use this to be a diligent student, but he uses it as a backup power for his business. And through the growth of the business, is able to not only finance, but possibly pay cash due to the affordability for his mother to have access to electricity. The key problems that we essentially attending to is power cuts, increasing cost of electricity, and inaccessibility to this electricity. With Johannesburg, the economic hub of Africa, experiences up to 12 hours of power cuts. We also ensure that the increasing tariffs that continue to grow on a yearly basis are attended to, but above and beyond that, there's a 15% of the population in South Africa that does not have access to electricity at all, and will continue not to have access for the next 15 plus years. The solution, it's deeply embedded in our core business models, which is solar installations, manufacturing, and the retail distribution, where the key revenue driver is deeply found in the solar installation systems. Our business model is quite simple and is an expression and extension not only of our solution, but the problem itself, where through the installations, for larger scale users, we offer power purchase agreements. Currently, we are in discussions with AB InBev to secure a project where we're providing 508 megawatts of their nominal annual consumption. And for smaller scale houses, we have financing and lease options. We also want to be retailers and manufacturers and want to leverage on the growth of the fourth industrial revolution and make use of our already active e-commerce website as part of the distribution and also having physical distribution stores. Our target market is divided into three. We're focusing largely now on larger scale projects within the business and private sector and public sector. However, at initial launch, we're focusing on households, and this has grown the company quite exponentially well. Our market size is quite huge, especially within the sub-Saharan Africa. However, our market share currently speaks to 1.4 million individuals, and that translates to 240,000 households, and that's the economic value of $40 million US. Now, that is the meter generator, that's seamlessly designed and beautiful device, and it can also be integrated with an app using Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, not only to monitor battery life and charge rate, but to switch it on and off, but also using data analytics to sort of optimize the efficiency. And we're currently trying to prototype a bigger brother of this, which is a trailer that has solar panels and has an increased capacity and can possibly power up the entire house while still retaining the portability and practicality of everything. Above and beyond that, we started in 2014 on a research and developmental level, launched commercially or started operations within 2019 December, and currently we're expanding and scaling up. Our traction is something that I'll speak on just recently, or just after this, and it's something that's worth noting, and we're growing quite well. Our roadmap speaks to three things. We want to get funding in all forms that we can. One, for the manufacturing of solar panels, which is about 100 million rands. We also want to ensure that we position ourselves strategically, where within the hype and the growing interest in electric vehicles, we'll have a network of charging stations, but we also want to establish ourselves within the next 3 years or so as an independent power producer, especially with the increasing market in Africa and South Africa. Now let's speak on the traction. Our milestones is also an extension of this traction. We're in the first 5 months of operation through 18 projects. We're able to retain $17,000, which is about 260,000 rands. This year alone, we've reached through 4 clients and maximized not only efficiency, but economized to the utmost best, where we have 4 clients and we've reached the $500,000 mark. And we've won various other pitching competitions, such as Red Bull, EWC, and we're also part of various programs as well. These are our competitors, both direct and indirect. Our competitive advantage is deeply embedded in accessibility, affordability, ease of use, and obviously social responsibility. A competitive approach is deeply founded in us never losing sight of the problem and also developing technology within the space. This is the team, has a synergy, and we work well together, and they've resulted, they're the reason why we've grown so exponentially. Above and beyond that, what do we ask? We want to, by winning this competition, we know we'll be able to achieve geographic growth, expanding to Johannesburg and Durban, and we'll get access to market to enable this access or growth geographically. And we also want to fund not only operational, but our capital expenditures. Thank you very much.
Nicely done, nonetheless, Randolph. Nicely done. Since our timekeeper is back, it means all protocol observed in terms of time. 2 minutes to the judges. Any question, judges? We'll take one question.
Yeah, so thank you and well done. My primary question is around your route to market. I saw very quickly who your competitors were. I think it was Voltex and one other. Those are fairly established companies, right? And they have a large amount of backing behind them, and they've been quite well established. So in terms of presence in market, they already have that. You're a new entrant. What do you see as your route to market? You know, and how do you see yourself breaking down some of those challenges?
Thank you very much. I think it's important to note that Voltex is an indirect competitor, as they focus more on the electrical components and they partially focus on renewable energy or solar. However, the competitive advantage inherently exists in the affordability, because they charge quite exorbitant amounts. However, the more direct competitors speak to Rubicon and your Microcare. And I think with Microcare, they've been around for, I think, over 30 years. However, there's a limitation in terms of innovation, and they have a very specific target market, and their price point doesn't allow for an economically inclusive product offering and service offering. With Rubicon, they focus more on the retail aspect of renewable energy, and we want to have that seamless integration where we have not only manufacturing, but as an extension of that, have the distribution through the e-commerce website and physical stores. But we also want to be installers. I think that the most unique value proposition is the accessibility and the economically inclusive price offering that also accounts for municipalities and government to sort of subsidize and ensure that the solutions are not only affordable, but actually accessible to everyone that is involved. And I think the route to market has been brilliantly discovered without taking too much of your time. We launched at a market penetration where we had a ridiculously low entry point in terms of the prices that we charged. Obviously, we operated at a loss for the first couple of months, but that enabled us to have a track record and portfolio, but also have a better understanding of the market. Hence, you can see from 18 projects, we're able to retain larger scale projects, and having 4 of them equate to about $500,000. And this essentially is a shift that we're making, where we're focusing on the larger scale power users, while still retaining that access to market for households, and essentially leveraging on the new regulations of allowing that 100 megawatt for private power provision.
Yeah, very good. And just add to your positives the ability that you have with regards to agility, right? I think there you guys have a great leverage, which should never be underestimated. So well done.
Certain. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen. And interestingly enough, Randolph, there is a entrepreneur who is supposed to pitch today, but will not be available because of electricity. So we'll put you in touch.
Thank you very much.
Great. Our next pitch is from South African Influence, represented by Joseph. Joseph, are you here?
Yeah, ready.
Awesome. Do you have a presentation as well?
Yes.
Right. While you're setting that up, let me just give the judges and our audience a spec of who is SA Influence. They connect marketers with vetted young South African influencers online. The platform does the heavy lifting, while the influencers connect and launch marketing campaign. Joseph, you know the drill, 5 minutes, and all the best.
All right. Thank you so much. So my name is Joseph, and I'm representing South African Influencers. So actually, testament to our journey as a startup, when we applied back in April, we were officially known as SouthAfricanInfluencers.com. But then through a few pivots and research, we have now renamed, we'll be rebranding to Simple Influence, just ushering in the new era of marketing. So just so that people are not confused as to what is Simple Influence. All right. So the problems that we currently face from one side of the coin is that influencers, upcoming influencers, face an uphill battle from the time they start with their journey to the time they actually start connecting with brands and earn their first paycheck. While companies and brands are also failing to reach their audience in an effective and authentic manner. Basically, this is due to the fact that most prominent influencers do not have scalable methods of teaching some of the skills that they have. And on the other hand, you also have a lack of access to these prominent influencers who, in a way, achieve celebrity status and creates a lot of barriers to entry between the guys on the ground and the guys at the top that do have the knowledge on how to become a successful influencer. And then this kind of creates a vicious cycle where you have prevalent, ineffective advertising as brands are not able to access these current celebrities who are hard to reach, while also people in this day and age do have software that blocks some of the traditional advertising that we have online. What we are looking at is a total global ad spend of $332 billion, with South Africa having a share of 469 million, while we have an ever-growing number of people that are blocking advertisement, digital advertisement on websites, mobile apps, continually growing. And in addition to that, we do have a statistic that an average consumer will most likely follow a recommendation from an influencer than to follow an advertisement that they may see while they're browsing the internet. What we have created is a platform where upcoming influencers can easily access established influencers through courses that are created, and also through an option to have one-on-one coaching, and in itself creating a database of vetted and high-performing influencers that brands and companies can have access to. So what we have is a scalable solution where established influencers can create courses, and also upcoming influencers can access influencers just in time and have less friction for brands and companies when they'd like to create authentic and effective advertisement and bypass any software that blocks the current ads that they currently set up. So the reason why we exist at the moment is because access to information is a big hindrance for a lot of upcoming influencers. The faces that we see on Instagram creating TikTok videos, to most, it may seem like TikTok videos, but we are seeing a whole new era, a whole new different way of people earning online, which was not previously available with the new change in technology. And what we also have is that most upcoming startups do not have the necessary budgets to access established celebrities for them to tap into this new era of marketing. What we have is a simple product which creates on one end online courses, and on the other end enables upcoming influencers to have access to one-on-one coaching from established influencers, while at the same time creating an organized database of South African influencers, which local companies and international companies can sift through to easily access and launch influencer marketing campaigns. At the moment, part of the team is myself, Joseph, co-founder of 123 Tutors, which recently also won an award, African Best Seed Startup with Africa Arena competition. I do also run an digital marketing agency where some of the insights did come from while we're working with some of the clients, trying to see what kind of strategies are currently working within the marketing industry. We also have Amira, who's with us as an industry expert, who's our main link between our offering and the macro influencers, which we know are hard to access. And then we have Kate, who also runs her own digital marketing agency, who's going to be heading the digital marketing aspect. Our go-to-marketing strategy is very simple, right? As you can see from this tweet from the future, we have one of our established macro influencer instructors having to share the information, having to share the link to the platform. As I'll read here, I'm now offering one-on-one coaching on the platform. I'll teach you how I made it as an influencer. Thank you for support. This is something that is simple, that we try to use our own message in a way to grow the platform as a testament to the value of influencer marketing in this new era of marketing. We also have free courses and free content that we use to get people into the funnel before we convert them into paying clients. At the moment, we're looking for seed funding to incentivize instructors and create content. As you know, nowadays, due to the pandemic, not a lot of established influencers are willing to work for a deferred amount of money. Most of them, due to commitments and having to commit to paying gigs, are more reluctant to get on board with us. As much as they may believe in the vision, they've got to eat and things like that. Alternatively, we could work with corporate sponsors who we can place and integrate into the content. Oh, thank you so much.
A good shot right there, Joseph. Thank you. Allow me to be very silly. Appies, if you are listening, Mr. Appies, this is a great opportunity for that chief spiritual officer to find an influencer. Right, our judges will be taking one question for Joseph. Thank you, Ziaad.
So Joseph, this is a different way of marketing, right? And I think the world is getting more and more used to it. Now, I think the one thing that I like the free education. I think it's a great opportunity to get people more in sync with new ways of working and all of those new things, right? So I like the idea. I think it attracts a whole new breed of thinking, which is fantastic. And it moves certainly down a path, which is where the world is moving. Yeah. Now, having said that, for me, I think the key thing when it comes down to influencing is people will ask about the integrity of the platform. Because like anything in the world, things can easily be manipulated, right? So do you have a view on that in terms of how do you maintain, the authenticity, make sure that there's no vulnerability in your systems, making sure that people that ultimately come into the system, as they grow the influential brand, if I can call it that, there's a level of authenticity in that. Do you have a view on that?
Yeah, definitely. Well, when it comes to authenticity, I mean, it's not something that you can fake, right? So inherent with influencer marketing is that if you look at the engagement, if you look at how a person is received, that kind of then is testament to the authenticity. And one thing that we know is that anyone who's not authentic, or any kind of campaign which is not authentic, does not get the light of day on social media, right? So I think what we do then is to use analytics, to use any information that we have, right, to ensure that we're monitoring the correct metrics, right? Because there are a lot of vanity metrics that you can look at, which kind of give you false signals. But if you look at the correct metrics, then you can see if whether your content is polarizing enough, is authentic enough, and then if people are really resonating with it to ensure that your message is delivered effectively.
Yeah, and I think that's the key point, right? The key point is, what is your target market and what is your customer actually looking for? And how do you take the right metrics of data to the right, to the right customers and show them the right touch points? Because that's really what it is. And how do you connect that using a digital world, right? That's what your value proposition is. And I think the better you articulate that, And the closer you get those two pieces coming together, the greater the power. So thank you. Good.
Thank you so much for that.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, gentlemen. Our next pitch is from Zimwire, represented by Mercy. Mercy, are you here? Mic check, testing, 1 2 1 2. Mercy? Okay, I'll check in for a third and final time. Mercy, representing Zimwire, are you here? All right, we'll probably come back to her. After Mercy, Jim, interesting, represented by Martin Mills. Hi, Martin.
Hello, can you hear and see me?
Yes, we can see you, but please increase your audio. Do you have a presentation?
Is the presentation up?
Okay, so while you're putting up your presentation, I'll tell our judges and audience about Gem. Gem is a brand that is very much female-centric, catering for the female consumers of beverage. Gem is non-alcoholic and addresses the challenges in consumer consumption globally towards a healthier lifestyle. We look forward to hearing your pitch, Martin. The floor is yours.
Can you see my presentation?
Not yet.
Gosh. Still not up? Oh, hang on. Oh, wait. There? Anything? Nothing there?
Not yet.
Oh, I knew this was going to happen. So I hit share screen.
Digital disruption.
Share screen, which is at the bottom of the Zoom setting. I'm on a Zoom app.
Yes. So you've clicked share screen. You can select entire screen. Yes, we're starting to see something come up.
And now?
All right, let's give it a few seconds. There we go.
So you've
got your presentation.
First page. Super. Well, hello everyone. I'd like to introduce you to Gem. Gem brand was inspired by a real life event and is driven by a powerful true story. We have a beautiful piece of art which we use for the Gem products and for branding, marketing. Gem celebrates the essence of the woman, and Gem's focus target ID are female consumers, women consumers. I'm Martin Mills. I'm the brand creator and founder of Gem, and I'm involved in the drinks business, and I've been exporting South African wines to China for over 10 years and more recently to Vietnam. My youngest daughter, Gemma, in December 2016, was diagnosed with leukemia, which I think you know is a bone marrow cancer. And unbeknown to me, I didn't know that my Gem would actually be the inspiration behind a female brand of a range of various products, from wine to gin to non-alcoholic to jewelry, sportswear, and perfume. It was during an intense period of chemotherapy that Gemma had access to an art studio, and on one occasion she created this very beautiful piece of art, which was just stunning, calming and serene. And it dawned on me as we were pursuing the chemotherapy, being in the wine business, that there was no brand which was focused or appealed or spoke to the female consumer. And it dawned, I just realized I had the perfect opportunity using Gem's art, her name, and her story to create a female-centric brand catering for female consumers of beverages. Hence, Gem brand was born. Creating a brand for female consumers was one thing, but it obviously became apparent that, as a man, I needed to have better insight as to how why women drink wine or women socialize. And also the data was there, which supports the fact that women are the largest buyers of beverages globally, generally more than men. So understanding the use of the beverages, the social occasions, it makes it far easier to put together a message with which to attract and to have females buy into the brand. From wine, it was obviously quite natural to go into gin. Gin is a massive market segment of spirits globally. And again, the branding and packaging had to resonate with what hopefully a woman would find attractive. And we've used slender bottles, sleek bottles, and the closure is a Bohemian crystal glass stopper. Understanding the changes in consumers' requirements is we also evolved the brand for a zero non-alcoholic beverage. And you'll see that the non-alcoholic drinks category addresses consumers' concerns globally for a healthier lifestyle. And Gem fits very nicely into that category in its own niche, hopefully appealing to female consumers. Why is Gem so special? Fortunately, living in the Western Cape, we have a large biodiversity in natural habitat. And in the Cape Flora Kingdom, two of the botanicals which comprise the mixture for Gem is rooibos and honeybush, which have been well documented for quite a long time for its health properties. But it gives Gem a very unique USP with regard to the ingredients within the liquid. Sales potentials for non-alcoholic drinks market: Diageo, owners of Smirnoff, Johnny Walker, Gordon's Gin, Guinness. The biggest spirits corporation invested in Seedlip, a non-alcoholic spirit, 3 years ago, and now owns a majority share. Seedlip's annual revenue is currently 24 million a year. Lyre's non-alcoholic spirits brand recently completed a C+ funding and are valued at now £100 million. Markets such as UK, Europe, Australia, USA are seeing exponential growth by consumers in non-alcoholic or low alcoholic products. It's actually quite interesting, the change in consumer lifestyle. And very interesting for me is my recent view on the halal markets in the Middle East, which are also growing in interest for non-alcoholic beverages. Product expansion for Gem will include ready-to-drink. RTDs are very fashionable and very high-selling products. A gin and tonic style non-alcoholic product. We also will produce a Gem-branded mineral waters infused with African botanicals such as moringa, rooibos, honeybush, and buku. And then there's the obvious one, which is Gem rooibos iced tea, all natural ingredients. That would be aimed at mid-level LSM consumers. And finally, Gem in good causes, true to Gemma's plight with cancer. Gem brand and Gem Zero Liquid is an approved partner for cause-related marketing for the Cancer Association of South Africa. The Sunflower Fund, which searches for bone marrow transplant donors and assists patients. And Pink Drive, which is an organization that educates women with regard to breast cancer and cervical cancer. And if I'm in with my 5 minutes, thank you very much. And now for any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Martin. I do have a question. So where were you in level lockdown 5? I'm just wondering, asking for a friend, non-alcoholic beverages. No. We can answer me later. But I see Grace has a video on. She has a question for you.
Thanks, Kamu. Martin, yeah, very intrigued by your by Gem. I like the celebrating the essence of woman. Amazing. I have 2 questions for you. First question, I think it's that mainly being somebody who's also a lot, becoming very health conscious. And my question to you is regarding the ingredients of the non-alcoholic beverages. I find that a lot of them still have a lot of sugar content. I know you said that yours has some sort of herbal tea elements, but I was just keen to hear how you augment the calories to make a delicious non-alcoholic beverage is the first question. And the second question is wanting to hear a little bit more on your go-to market strategy, just with the beverages market being so competitive and so many brands out there, and how who would your sort of core target market or customers be in terms of, is it restaurants, is it spas, wellness, or gyms, or your Diageo? So I'm just keen to hear what your go-to market strategy is.
Thank you. Yeah, with regard to the sugar content or beefing out the product, there is a small amount of fructose content or sugar content which does go into the product. This is also, if you like, increased with, we can use blackberries within the process. So obviously, yeah, because some of those products out there, as you quite rightly say, well-known ones, I mean, they're very watery, very thin, and they're not very impressive at all. So obviously the product has to stand up to everything that we want to present with it, which is the brand in the story, the packaging. Ultimately, if the liquid's not good, you won't buy it again. Yes. So that's very important to us. But you know, again, you have to accept in life that some of the things that are sweet, which you enjoy, you're going to pay a little price for. Hence, you exercise, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not a couch potato. So, and also, you know, route to market. So, you know, there's standard retail, online sales, when we collaborate with the cancer organizations for events. So there's lots of traditional ways to market. There are events we can hold, whether it be online sales. So I wouldn't be reinventing the wheel with regard to how you're actually going to be able to purchase the product. What probably matters most is the availability for you where you live and the attraction of the product, price, packaging, and product, which is the call to action. So it'll be traditional channels really and existing methods. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Martin.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you for that question, Grace. Martin, we'll talk at the next lockdown. Right. And my middle name is Jin. G for Jin, G for Gamu, whichever one. Mercy, are you here? All right, it seems Mercy is not with us. So we'll go to our final pitch for today, which will be Kasi Convocation, represented by Jonki. Jonki, are you here?
Yes, I am here.
Wonderful. So while you are showing us your, yes, there we go. While you're showing us your video and putting up your presentation, I'll just read out a little bit about what Kasi Convocation does. It is a social media platform based on Ubuntu philosophy concept with the goal or aim of helping Stokvel members in South Africa conduct their Stokvel business in simple terms, offering financial management services as well as exposing them to better related services. Jonki, you are the last number. In 5 minutes, all the best.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. I would like to thank you all for giving me this opportunity to present my startup. Like many South Africans, I grew up in a township of Katlehong where Stokvels meant everything in a household. My mother and her friends used to save a lot of money. My mother and her friends used to save a lot of money for December occasions, mainly for buying groceries. But I also saw how Stokvel funds could be doing much more and be used to help communities in a much bigger and vital way. My name is Joanki. I'm the CEO of Kasi Convocation. I introduce you to the LinkedIn of Stokvel members for South Africans. We provide online space for Stokvel members to connect and interact on our social media platform. There is no effective and trusted way for Stokvel members to find and transact with each other online. We spoke with some leaders of Stokvel clubs and they concurred. Most, if not all of the members struggles with financial education, which results in poor financial decisions and expenditures. Some added that being unaware of what other Stokvel clubs are doing proves to be no help at all. Ubuntu is an African word which translates to humanity to others. It is often described as reminding us that I am what I am because of what who we all are. We bring the spirit of Ubuntu to the industry of social networking websites. Kasi Convocation is an online expanding directory based on Ubuntu philosophy concept that connects Stokvel members, investors, and financial institutions through social networks. Current estimates are there are over 820,000 Stokvels in the country with a combined membership of 12 million people, handling over 45 billion rand per annum. The total addressable market is at a value of 50 billion rand. Then the serviceable addressable market at a value of 20 billion rand, with a serviceable obtainable market at a value of 3 billion rand, which we aim to gain in a period of 10 years of operations. With that being said, we aim to gain a bigger share of the market as time goes, considering how fast the market is growing. Surviving in a business world as a social networking website requires more than just the ability to get Stokvel members to register in your platform, your expertise, knowing how to conduct business, but also knowing how to network with key people that matters, decision makers that decide who gets a contract or business deal. Our key competitors are Facebook, Stokvel, VK, WhatsApp, Ayoba app, and Soup Africa. There are also a lot of other smaller social networks that are working very hard in the background that are likely to pose competition for us. We must respond very fast to market changes, be flexible. Management and staff will need to work very hard to shorten lead time so that the business stays competitive and be able to penetrate the market and make a mark. Our customers are people involved and interested in stokvel activities with age ranging between 20 to 60 years old. Based on the research we did and the articles we found on Google about stokvels, there's a high demand of our services right now. Stokvels are regulated by the National Stokvel Association of South Africa, founded in 1988, and it has been growing since then without showing any signs of limitations. Our business model is simple. We have two main sources of revenue, which is advertising and premium services. Our financials are more than realistic. Our financial projections are more than realistic. More financial statements are available on request. We are looking for 1 million up to 2 million rand in funding to finish the development of our product, release a bid, launch new office space, purchase the needed software application, and launch new and hire key staff. The company will be managed by me, whom I'm the vision bearer of the organization, driven by love and passion for technology, intrigued by the wonders of technology and how it impacts people's lives on a daily basis. I am smart working, confident, coachable, commit over 100% to everything I do, and one of my biggest assets is learning. My knowledge is based on social media development, software development, web designing, programming, corporate branding, and business management. My board of committee consists of one mentor, Mr. Mkolisi Mtombe, and two advisors, Mr. Maredi Tema and Mr. Liseja Mohopa. They all are running their own companies and they have more than 50 years of experience combined in the industry. They all hold the patent on the core technology upon which this market and industry is built. Thank you. I am now ready for questions.
What a powerful ending to our pitches this afternoon. Can I ask everyone to switch on their videos and just give all our participants a very warm round of applause? Pretty please, pretty please, pretty please. Even to yourselves, and job well done. One of the most challenging things to ever do within the entrepreneurial journey is standing up in front of people and trying to convince them that yes, what you are foreseeing absolutely makes sense. So a very big shout out to all our participants. What we are going to do now in the next 10 minutes, we're going to take a break. And Madam Timekeeper, please do time us, strictly 10 minutes, where we'll get the judges to...
But Gamo, sorry, Gamo, I think we needed to give him a chance to...
Questions for John.
Questions, yeah.
Sorry.
You're on mute, Gamo. Can we go ahead with the questions?
Please go ahead.
Yes, questions.
So I'll first ask my fellow judges if they want to ask anything. I do have a question, but I'll go second or third.
I do have a question.
Oh, Grace.
Okay, cool. So Jonki, two questions for you. One, you mentioned during your competition slide that you're mainly competing with social media platforms. And so just wanted to ask, I take it from the backdrop of I've come from an environment where my parents were part of stokvels, and for them, their biggest thing was to ensure that they put money away, but they wanted to make sure that in January, when it was time for school fees and stuff and school uniforms, they would be able to get that exact amount of money that they put away back. They didn't even want the interest. So it was always safer to, go get together in stokvels and take the money to the bank. So I would have thought that your traditional means of where stokvels go would have been your competition. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about why you believe that, your social media platforms are more of your competition than your traditional routes of where stokvels would go to keep their money. And then secondly, if you could just elaborate on your definition of freemium services.
Okay, I will start with your first question. Firstly, the platform is not going to be handling any money. We're not a bank or some sort of bank. So just like LinkedIn, it deals with job opportunities, but it doesn't offer it doesn't offer jobs on their platform. Our main goal is to create awareness for people involved in a stokvel. So here in my place, around my area, there are a lot of people who are involved in stokvel activities. However, they don't have enough. They are limited to opportunities available within in the category. Like you said, all they do is buy groceries, is save money for groceries and all the stuff. But what if we can do more? What about doing extra? Do you understand that? Like maybe we can start a stokvel housing whereby people will be able to invest their money and use it to buy buildings, like houses, renovate and all that stuff. So the second question, our freemium services will be based on the services that we'll be offering on our platform. So the goal, the flagship product of our business will be to allow stokvel members to connect with investors, financial institutions, and communities after signing up a free account. The members of the same city will be grouped together and be able to communicate with the same members of the same hometown or community. And there's a built-in messaging system. Being on our platform means new opportunities for stokvel members. Some of the added benefits will be sharing their project with investors, exploring financing opportunities that will be offered by our partners and selected investors, participating in the upcoming events and conference across the country, access resources, thematic articles, and more, benefit from the investment services support groups and initiatives. And they will be able to connect with the members of the other stokvel clubs by either creating or joining a stokvel interest or stokvel group of interest. And each member will be able to browse the stokvel activities of the other stokvel clubs through global search function. Thanks.
Thank you. So, Joanki, thank you very much for your presentation. I got two comments linked to a question, right? The first comment is that the entire model is premised on trust, because trust is embedded in everything you do. I mean, if I take Grace's example of, where people trust you to keep their money such that when you return, the money is there so that you can go and fulfill whatever your obligation is. That's the underlying premise, right? I'd like to understand a little bit more about the trust element in your proposition. But linked to that, you also describe quite a few competitors in the space that you have. Now, sometimes first to market is important, sometimes it isn't. And if you're not the first to market, then you better be coming with something that's much better, provides much better, greater value, maybe more applicable to what the requirements are, easier to use, or whatever else, right? So when I put those two parallels to you, but from the trust side, together with a better operating model, if I can call it that, right? What is your answer to those two things?
Well, we are quite aware that to be highly competitive in the social networking website industry means that we are not just expected to be able to create a platform for stokvel members to interact, deliver consistent and excellent services only, but we must be result-driven and be able to meet set targets. No one will want to continue to hire our services, advertise on the platform, if we don't meet the target sales the organization intends to generate. Our competitive advantage lies on the power of unique features of the platform and the workforce. We have a team of creative, result-driven, and high-proficient social media experts, a team with excellent qualifications and experience in various niche areas in the social networking website industry and other internet-related services. Aside from the synergy that exists from our carefully selected social media experts and back office staff, our services will be measurable, result-driven, and guided by the best practices in the industry. Focusing convocation to position itself strategically in the market, we need to be aware of our internal strengths and weaknesses, and to be aware of the available opportunities and threats. The strengths and weaknesses are issues which are within our control, while opportunities and threats are issues which are outside of our control, but which we need to take advantage of or mitigate. These are as follows. strength, a trained director. I have attended several courses on IT and business management. I have a team of creative and result-driven, a team with excellent qualifications and experience, guided by a board of committee consisting of 1 mentor and 2 advisors. Weaknesses. Resource people needed to grow the business require very high salaries. Waiting period for the platform to gain traction, and we have no premises for operations. Opportunities to compete with well-known established brands around the world, to make a lot of revenue through advertising, and to have a locally developed, well-known social media platform. Then we have threats. Very high competition from established brands which have invested billions of rands into their platforms, and non-acceptance by the public. And lastly, all our staff members will be taken care of, and their welfare package will be among the best within our category in the industry. This will enable them to be more than willingly to build a business with management, help deliver set goals, achieve business aims and objectives. Kasi Convocation will use the best content producers to be able to stay ahead of the competition. The content developed will speak to the needs of our target audience so that a lot more Stockfile members can patronize the platform. All the above will give Kasi Convocation an edge over all competitors.
Okay, thanks. And I think the key thing is in the how, right? But we don't have time for that. So Gemo, back to you. Thanks.
Awesome. And a big thank you to my partners who made sure that through this entrepreneurial journey we're taking, like I was getting offline, you know, by not giving Jonky that platform to have his questions asked. So thank you for bringing me back. Much appreciated. And Jonky, yeah, it seems the questions are really just on point in terms of taking you to the next level, some food for thought during the course of this weekend. Okay, so with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a 5-minute break. There are breakaway sessions for participants as well as for judges. So we'll ask the judges if there are any deliberations that need to happen, please do enter into that particular breakaway. Participants, if you just want to touch base and share some insights about how the pitches went through, I equally encourage you to join the meeting room. So to those viewers who are watching us from home, please refuel your beverage and let's meet here in 5. Thank you. Right, I see people are starting to come back into the pitching den. We'll give plus minus 20 seconds, see if we're a full room, make sure that everyone is here. Awesome. And as we're waiting for people, just want to reiterate our gratitude and our thanks to our judges, our mentors. Impeccable. Absolutely impeccable. Thank you so much for the time. And I'm quite sure that even the entrepreneurs themselves who've spent some time with you equally appreciate it. Okay. We are going to have a 2-part award session. All right. The first part, we're going to have early stage as well as ideation stage. The early stage are those entrepreneurs who are still in the early stage, and during the pitch, they certainly stood out. They could have stood out in terms of the content they presented, the pitch itself, and even the delivery. Same applies to those within the ideation stage. Were you able to capture those principles and the essence of what it means to be an entrepreneur within the ideation stage? So of the 14 applicants, 9 were in the early stage and 5 were ideation stage. With that in mind, the idea behind it is literally just to celebrate your work. We as 22 and Sloan will then do a feature article about what you're doing and just tell the good story so as to assist in that exposure as well as part of your go-to market strategy. Before I announce the winners of the different stages, I'm wondering if I should do a drum roll for this one. Guys, what do you think? Should I do a drum roll for this one? Because I'm announcing 2 companies. Yeah, okay. Randolph says I should do a drum roll. Right. In that case, The entrepreneur who is taking early stage winner is Deaftouch. Can we get a whoop whoop for Deaftouch? By popular demand and a whole lot of engagement, Deaftouch, the way you presented your current stage within early stage was absolutely impeccable. Very, very well done to you. We certainly look forward to featuring you. Our second winner within the ideation stage, let me do that again. Solar Bakers. A very, very warm congratulations to you guys. Your model, although in ideation, shows a lot of potential, nicely packaged, nicely presented, and looking forward, like I said, to eating those rusks made from the sun. Great. The fun part is beginning. I want to tell you what the 3 entrepreneurs will be getting as their prizes. I was mentioning to the judges that although it may not be 6,000 zeros, one thing for sure, it's value add. Value add, and you can't go wrong with value addition. Our prizes are as follows. First, a mentorship prize from the World Bank. I mean, if I try and get mentorship from the World Bank, it might take a minute, but this, using the EWC platform, I'm so in. Exciting. Second prize is from Tarsus On Demand. All 3 entrepreneurs will be receiving web creation, social media platform setup of AdWords campaign, as well as a go-to-market workshop, assisting them to launch their strategy. How awesome is that, guys? How awesome is that? Third prize, they will be featured on the SABC's SME on Point, channel 404. If you've ever watched SME on Point, you have an idea of what I'm talking about. Last and certainly not least, each entrepreneur will get 3 complimentary tickets to the Africa Arena Summit taking place in December. All else being equal, vaccinations or protocols being observed, it's quite an experience and a half to physically be amongst like-minded people from different parts of the continent. So these are the awesome prizes that our top 3 entrepreneurs will be taking home. Right, on to the fun part. More drum rolls. In third place, SA Influence. Joseph, please switch on your video so that we can just give you a shout out. Congratulations, congratulations. Yes, you certainly influenced. Certainly.
I tried my best. Wow, thank you so much.
Job well done. On to our second runner-up. Are you ready? Deaftouch. Oh, you absolutely did the most. You really did the most. A very, very warm congratulations to you guys. 2 prizes in one event. If you do not excel in the next few months, I'm watching you. Well done, well done, well done. Last, and certainly on top of the game. The biggest drum roll ever, Vitruvian. Well done, well done, well done, well done. Team Vitruvian, please switch on your video so that we can celebrate you. Well done.
Thanks very much. Thanks.
Yay. So ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of the Entrepreneurship World Cup Finals for South Africa. I strongly urge you to co-create, collaborate amongst yourselves. Although one may not have taken the top 3 spots, each and every pitch that was delivered today was fundamentally answering a challenge that is being experienced or an opportunity that has been identified. It means some way, somehow, there's a market, there's potential to progress from one business stage to another. So capitalize on learning from each other, connect, and certainly just keep at it. This thing called entrepreneurship, once you start, stopping is a problem. So a very warm thank you to everyone who's joined us from home, to all our participants once again. Matlatsi will be in touch with everyone with the way forward, and we take it from there. But continue to keep safe, practice social distancing, and about that gem, Martin will talk.
Before we close up, I'd like to mention that the top 3 national finalists will be in contact with the Global Entrepreneurship Network, Entrepreneurship World Cup organizers. Will be in touch with you regarding your Accelerate program, and you will now be competing for the Global Top 100 spot. So good luck to all of you.
Good luck and well done, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks very much. Thanks, everyone.
Happy weekend.
Well done.
And take care.
Bye. Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.